these guys, very, very scary. One of my favorite players here for the Nemiga side is Lollipop. I've seen some incredible plays from him. Very, very big impact rifler. Speedak as well, often the man picking up that sniper. And Box, really, really a dangerous player too. I think we're going to be getting into this game very, very shortly indeed. So should be a very, very exciting one, and one that I really don't know who's going to be able to take it. I think we're going to be taking a look at these vetoes in just a second, and it all kind of comes down to this, doesn't it? We see both teams playing 6 of the 7 maps, so they've got really, really strong map pools, really strong win rates on all of these maps as well. We're going to see Overpass picked first here for Tricked. That's a great pick for them. They've got 71% win rate there. Really, really stronghold map for them. Inferno next for Nemiga, and then that leaves us with that third and final of Mirage. So do you think this one goes to 3 maps, Kremer? And if so, or if not, sorry, which way does it swing in the 2-0 favor?
I think for Nemiga, if they want to win this, it needs to be a 2-map affair. I think the weakest map for them in this kind of veto is Barrage, and by quite a substantial way. This veto definitely favors Tricked, and I think if we're being realistic and if we're going off statistics, I expect it will be a 2-1 to Tricked, in which we see Tricked take Overpass, Nemiga take Inferno, and then Mirage being a bit of a landslide victory for Tricked. Again, if Nemiga wasn't win it, they're going to have to start by taking Overpass off Tricked, which they can do so. You know, they still play the map, but nowhere near as much as Tricked, and nowhere near to the same success as Tricked. And that really should play to their detriment as they kind of get things underway here.
Absolutely, yeah, I actually agree with that. Nemiga, they either take Overpass and get this done in a 2-0, or if we do go down to that third map, I do favor Tricked in that scenario too. The only thing to really note here is caliber context. When you look at that Mirage third and final, Nemiga have got a terrible win rate there. Yeah, in fact, it's 20%. They really, really do not like it at all. But when you actually look at who they've lost to, you've got Gambit in there in DreamHack Open, you've got the Movistar Riders. The 2 recent losses, Skade and Ago, they're ones that, to be honest, you really do expect Nemiga to be winning those games, but we're just going to have to wait and see. Looks like we are going to be jumping straight into the pistol round with that, so no more of our nattering. Let's get right into the action. Overpass. Tricked starting off on this attack. Nemiga on the CT side. A lot of heavy utility here for Tricked as well. 3 flashbangs, 2 smokes to work with as they head towards a fast B control.
Getting the early util lineup straight away by Tricked, but Zip and Lucky ready to deploy that straight away. Nemiga on the flip side, they try to hand aggression towards A. Fortunately, this means that MDS, the last man and only man towards this site, has to try and hold. He's got all the players kind of going towards him. He can hit all the steps around him. He's caught out from behind. Good for 1, good for 2, actually, before Prime shuts him down. And the reality is that's all he needs to do. Now Nemiga, a man up, arm around the board, can take their time with this attack. And as Tricked spots them coming his way, or their way, Lucky's really got to perform here. Good for 1. You need more than 1. Lollipop there to trade. Box to get Zip, leaves it all on Prime. Only armor to his name. Yes, he's in a good position for an afterplant, but fighting 3 USPs when, you know, they are playing the range game, it can be very hard to do. Catches out the first. 1v2 now as they try to take the aim jewels. He's caught out. He's able to swing around the corner. Lollipop finishes the job as the defuse comes in. Speedak will be able to secure Nemiga their first round.
I feel like that round all falls onto the shoulders of MDS there. He played that incredibly well. The solo defender actually on the bomb site itself, and instead of taking those early firefights, he danced around the pillar, bought some time for some rotates, and then when he was forced to take the gunfights, he managed to strip away 2 heads before he fell, which means that not only has he bought time in that scenario, but it means that rather than his teammates coming in with a man disadvantage on the retake in a 5 versus 4, they've actually got the man advantage in a 4v3, and it meant that they were just able to win their aim jewels, take the round by the reins, and it's a very, very good start from them indeed. Tricked now, we do see a force buy come out off the back of that bomb plant in the last. 2 rifles, a MAC-10, and a couple of Deagles to work with. But are they going to anticipate Box up close and personal? The answer is yes. Eliminated, head stripped off, and now Tricked with the man advantage. Press forward.
It's not a buy you can underestimate either. This AK and this Galil, both of them, they have the power to punch straight through Nemiga now. And as Nemiga get a bit aggressive, Quez ready to shut down MDS, leaves Nemiga 2 players down. Lollipop 2K, he's now the sole defender of this B site, and he's doing so from B water. He does have short control. He's ready to duel anyone who gets a bit too ambitious towards this connecting pipe. But the reality is, he is very alone right now, and if Tricked want to, they can easily swarm him. But Tricked, they stay disciplined, they stay humbled, and as they spread out around the map looking for another pick onto Nemiga, this means that Speedak, the player towards on toilets, might be under a bit of threat here.
Well, a two-man advantage. Tricked have managed to take and make it 3. Lucky, the man that you said to look out for, stripping heads with these Deagles. And now it's all on to Jo and Lollipop. Jo up close with this MP9. If he can strip away a couple of these low HP players, there's definitely an opportunity here. And there we go. 2 kills found. Can't quite make it 3 as he gets zipped down incredibly low. And Lollipop, it's a very doable 3-on-1. The C4, it's not got down yet. Lollipop already on the rotation. The digits now being tapped in. And that Molotov, it's going to keep him at bay for an extra few seconds, but 2 low HP opponents to contend with. Spots out the first, the headshot found. Prime and kс. It's all on these 2 remaining players to get this one done. The C4 planted for them. They can play the time here, but so can Lollipop. He's got no kit, but still 30 seconds to work with. As he presses into the toilets, kс jiggling this angle with the MAC-10. As soon as he shows himself, Lollipop's going to spam him through the wall. Darts for this defuse now as he knows that he's running out of time. Has to tap it again, but the swing is not going to come just yet. Prime peaks. I'm not sure if Nemiga's got this. I think Lollipop might just about have it, but it's incredibly close.
He is cussing that line mighty damn fine. He doesn't quite have it. Tricked, they equalize 1-1. And while it's credit where credit is due to Lollipop there for making it equal and for keeping the Tricked economy down, forcing them to reinvest, the reality is the fact they lost that round mean that Tricked are going to have a bit more economic padding going forward than the Nemiga definitely will. And as we see a force buy versus a force buy for round 3, it really is going to dictate whether or not Tricked can really get the ball rolling and try to string more rounds together, or we keep Nemiga fighting for it and keeping things neck and neck.
That was an incredibly close round. And off the back of it, no surprise that Nemiga go for another force up here. We do see the pistols come out. Lollipop with that MP9. They got off to a really rocky start, but it was recovered quite nicely. The issue is that premium weapon is now gone. kс, no trouble for him to eliminate it. And now it's just the pistols. Speedak, no Kevlar to work with either. And as we see this boost come over the top, Tricked right now, they're just trying to take these advantages, play the long-range fights. They don't want to be spammed by any of these pistols up close and personal. Just waiting down this clock. Minute 15 now to work with. They've taken the B short control, and, well, they've got enough util to go for a full execute. They just need to time it properly.
Nemiga try their best to catch out an odd member, just try to keep that man count even. But for the time being, it's actually a bit of defensive play from Trick. They get ready for the re-aggression. Jo, the man to fall, and with MDS now backing away himself, he's to try and catch out Prime. It's going to be a tough ask because Prime brings out a few shots, but as MDS finds that trade, means that Trick have to reevaluate their attack. I think they're wary to the fact Nemiga may have stacked this B side. They did take their time with this aggression, but it looks like regardless, they're just going to launch this attack anyway. 4-on-3, and while there's a single flash by Nemiga to help out here, it's going to be down to Speedak to try and pray for timing. Unfortunately, he's not blessed by it. Zip finds the first kill. Now MDS has to go huge. Ready for the players to push into him. It's Zip to find him. All on box, swarmed from all angles, and summarily executed. Tricks, they lead 2-1 now as they force Nemiga down to an eco.
Well, unfortunately for Nemiga, they're just not able to have as much success there as they did in the last. They drop down to this eco. They're now at a 1-round deficit, and soon to be 2 more than likely, unless they can pull off some kind of masterclass. Jo and MDS get a couple of P250s, but there'll be no Kevlar here, no utility whatsoever, not investing all too much into this one at all, just looking for 1 to 2 frags to try and keep that Tricked economy at bay. And Tricked, well, they're just looking to continue to apply this pressure. And if they can do so, and let's say they have a near flawless round here, I mean, remember last round they kept 4 players alive. If they can keep 4 or 5 alive in this one, it's really going to start to build that bank account and get that economy flowing. It will mean that when Nemiga do actually go for their full buy, Tricked will have enough cash to fall back on if things don't go their way. 4-man stacked towards long there, and Jo is able to trade 1 for 1. If he does breach in for that rifle, might lose his life, but no, grabs it, falls away. This is a really good start from Nemiga.
I really like how they're able to back away once they have that rifle as well. Rather than continuing aggression, we actually see MDS dance around the pillar as well. He gives his position up, though, when kс, while it's messy, he does come out on top. It's a man advantage for Tricked and a positional advantage at that. The bomb's going to go down. Nemiga in an after-plant situation here. They don't have much of a chance, but with this AK, they might look to kind of pluck some of the Tricked members from the site here and look to do just that odd bit of damage. kс, a well-timed nade, is definitely going to ruin Speedy's day. Instead, it ruins JO's day with a nice nade there. There's a lot of damage. Elsewhere towards heaven, Speedak falls to Prime, and with that, I think Nemiga, they either hunt for exits here or they just save this AK and allow Trick to make it 3. With a 3-1 lead, Nemiga move to their next full buy, and it gives them a chance to seriously try and challenge Trick for the first time, really, since the pistol round.
Oh, they've done so much damage, and Zip, I think he'll just about get away from the blast radius of that bomb before it explodes, and there we go, he will. It takes a fair amount of damage from it, but he'll survive. So 4 players staying alive here for Tricked. As you say, it's very, very messy indeed, but at the end of the day, they did what was required of them. Nemiga, they carry across that AK. Jo is going to be happy with that one, the one-hit headshot potential that it comes with. And Trick, they're going for a little bit of a bonus here, keeping this MAC-10 on kс, keeping the Galils on Lucky and Zip, despite the fact that they've got tons and tons of cash behind them. Now, what's worrying for Trick is MDS, the way he's playing B right now, dancing around this pillar, means that even when Tricks get onto the site and they hard clear it, they still have to be wary that he's lingering somewhere. And later on in the rifle rounds, I'm very excited to see how that plays out.
It's all psychological warfare with Jo finding kс. That is all but embodied. Being able to get a kill from that position means that Trick from here on out are always going to be paranoid of boosts. They're always going to be paranoid of positions that Nemiga could be in. We see smokes go down. Zip, that's a nice opening onto MDS. Is he timed it well enough? That he does. Prime Falls, he tries to double up onto Zip here. Not quite able to do so, but his teammates there to assist. Lollipop 2K doubles up, leaving it all down to Lucky. Alone in a 1v3. Smoke goes out, cutting him off, and as he looks to make his way forward, these Nemiga players are going to be more than ready for him. Box and Lollipop to 21k finish the job, and Nemiga, they find their second.
Well, Tricked are going to be able to shrug that one off a little bit, because do you know what? It was a bonus round, so they'll lose their Galils, they'll lose that MAC-10, they'll reinvest into these AKs, and actually, we haven't seen this before. We get a nice little insight of the Tricked cams. Yeah, that is cool. That is very cool indeed.
That's pretty cool. I do like the Tricked cams. And tell you what, as well. All right, this is a this thing we had as commentators as well. If you've won a round, right, and you know you're on camera, at what point do you try and do something funny on camera, and how do you change the way you celebrate in worry that you may be celebrating wrong?
I would be doing that at all times. I'd have party lights on. I would be wearing something funny. On. Yeah, I'd be wearing like a big furry coat and a silly hat. But that's just me. And I think Tricked are more focused on actually winning the game rather than keeping us entertained. So,
yeah. They might send us now, actually. So gear up for what will be a full execution towards B. Again, Nemiga fanned out round this site. Rifles on hand, and with a bit of an off angle here from NDS, considering how he used to dance around the pillar. Tricked, it might be hard thought to clear this, and instead they don't even consider it. They go elsewhere towards A. This means the player on the close angle in the form of Box is definitely going to have his work cut out for him. I think he's hoping the flash will land behind him. Does it do so? Instead, there's no flash at all. Zip just runs around the corner and clicks on his head. Speedy as well loses his head to Zip there, and now Zip, with this momentum, is going to start pushing forward towards A. Nemiga caught in rotation. Caught in what might be a bit of revelry here as they attempt to hold this site. 35 seconds remaining, and Trick looks to be all over them.
That's just an unbelievable showcase of pure aim there from Zip. He's even going to swap out to the AWP as well, just due to that low HP. Remember, Bogdan's law dictates it. And off of the back of that A pressure, they're going to just reconvene, head towards this B site. They'll get a free bomb plant right now. MDS does challenge it, but he's instantly traded. Zip, that's his third of the round. He's done just about everything at this point, and Nemiga are going to fall away and save. The power of those entries is just unbelievable. To swing out, if he dies in that first engagement, Nemiga have a man advantage. They can fall away, they maintain control of the A site, and they maintain control of the round. But with Zip causing that disruption, finding the headshot, and finding the secondary man that's there to support and trade, Nemiga have no further information on what's going on towards A. The B players dart over in fear, and it completely leaves them incredibly vulnerable. It leaves that B site open, and Tricked are just able to abuse it. Very, very nice play indeed, and it's going to put them on to 4.
What I like as well is that 4 of the 5 members are going to survive. Yes, Nemiga, they can save 2 rifles, but right now, Tricked, they know they're in this for the long haul. They know that they need to try and make this as one-sided as possible, just so they can have enough momentum to try and challenge Nemiga on Inferno. And because of that, we see them, again, play a bit safer. We see them go for another investment. And right now, if they can make this round convincing against Nemiga, they can look to confirm and find themselves a victory in this first half. And there you go. We see the thing on the on the scoreboard here. Apex fun fact about them, I think that was the conversion for 4 out of 4 the times they got the initial pick. So
it's actually for Tricked. I think the logo was just wrong there, but yeah,
okay.
In the 4 rounds that they've won, it's all been off the back of that first kill. So as soon as they find that opening man, Nemiga just seemed to crumble, and Tricked are able to capitalize on it. And let's see if that stat line continues, or if Nemiga start to recover, start to find these trades.
We see for now, Tricked, they hold a bit of a passive setup. I quite like how passive they're being right now. It means that they don't want to run into any of these members, and it means that they know that Nemiga are going to be in a pretty good position. But that's an opening and a half. Kier, he removes Speed Axe head with lethal precision, and now that leaves Box so very alone along toilets. Kier spots him out. You can't quite find the conversion, but Box knows better than to run straight into him. Looks like he might be due a double swing from one of these Tricked members. He panics, he deploys his smoke, he's ready for the players to push into him. Good for one. He might be able to double up here. Again, doing a lot of damage either way, but Zip, he'll make sure that it's a trade. 4 on 3 now, and as Jo tries his attention towards Banana, can he catch out a player in rotation? That he can. Zip falls with the bomb as well, which means that Trick definitely have to be a bit more careful. 30 seconds to play with, 3 on 3, and they don't really have much map control to work with here.
Unfortunately for Jo there, he's not actually able to contest it, despite the fact that he knows he's dropped the C4. They don't have any control towards Fountain whatsoever, and it would lose him his life if he got aggressive. MDS right now, the last line of defense towards this B site, and as Quez eliminates him, it now leaves an open door of opportunity. Lollipop on the fast rotation, spamming away, can't seem to connect for anything, and Quez finds the headshot. And remember that stat line at the very start of this round, Gremmer, when Tricked find the opening pick, they win the round, and they do it once again. Now 5 for 5, and Nemiga, they're going to have to drop down to the eco in this one.
It's definitely an awkward spot if you are Nemiga now. Again, that was a round they really shouldn't have won. And there you go, there's the statistic. Tricked. Again, the fact they've been able to convert and kind of win a round every time they get an entry definitely is something that Nemiga needs to be scared of. And the fact that they have a 100% win rate after finding that initial pick shows just how formidable they can be when working as a team. Nemiga, now down to pistols, have definitely got a really, really tough spot ahead now to try and outmaneuver them. Quez, there you go. That boost that happened the first time round, only works once. Quez now, knowing full well that there are members who are going to try it again, is already pre-aiming it. He finishes the job, but it feels like Nemiga, they're showing their tricks a bit too early here.
Absolutely, yeah, that's kind of the thing. Those boosts are very impactful because it gets your opponents worried. As soon as you try it once, then Tricked are walking into short, paranoid, they're checking all the boosts, but it does mean that if you go for it again, it is going to be anticipated. And there we go, man advantage taken. We do fully anticipate Tricked to win this round purely on the basis that they are up against a full eco. But Prime, will he expect the close range, man? No, it's Box. He swings out with the Zeus, but can't connect, and Prime snatches away 2 heads in the meantime. They will be able to walk straight onto the A site here and get this C4 planted, and Jo and Lollipop left picking at straws here on the B site where there is no one to entertain them.
This is a really tough spot for Nemiga now. The fact they've been able to get no picks whatsoever, the fact they've been unable to get anyone who dare come their way, and right now for Tricked as they go 6-2 up, this is where Tricked, if they can keep up this momentum, it sprouts the question of, can they try and look to close out the map with it being so one-sided that they keep all of their momentum to go onto Inferno? And for Nemiga, I think they knew they were going to lose this first map. That was kind of back of their mind. Yes, we're going to Tricked's home ground, but at least we have Inferno. The reality is, Tricked can still play Inferno. Definitely not to the caliber of Nemiga, at least in terms of kind of contextualized statistics. But the reality is, with momentum taken into account, Nemiga are definitely in a lot of trouble.
I'm not really too sure what Nemiga are doing here either. They're not going for exits. They're going for a hard save, but they've got nothing to save. They're in a full buy next round, so bringing a P250 into the next is going to have 0 impact. Quez finds 1 with that Mac 10. That gives him an extra $600. Has to fall away off the back of being dinked. But Lollipop, I mean, I hope he's happy. He saved himself a CZ. I don't think it's going to have any impact on this next round whatsoever. As Tricked, they find themselves quite substantially in the lead now. It's 6-2, and I like that. Oh, we switched just as he scratches his nose, and he's got Minion there as well. And that's a cool camera angle.
I get to us. I do feel quite bad for a lot of these players who are told to get a camera out. We've actually lost a player. so it's just disappeared. But that explains why Nemiga are having some trouble here. They're playing with 4 members. There you have it. But Again, tell you what, Josh. Assuming you are Nemiga right now, what goes through your mind thinking that you have to change something to try and be tricked here? And if you are Nemiga in this position where you know that statistically you win map 2, do you kind of write off an overpass and then kind of focus on Inferno, or do you fight to the bitter end at risk of burning yourself out?
Not with Mirage as a third map, you can't. No, I think if they had a comfortable third map, you can kind of say, oh, yeah, we can afford to lose Overpass here. Like, let's just focus on 2 and 3. But with Mirage as the third map, they really, really do need to focus on recovering this and actually taking Overpass here. And with a start like this, I think that they're going to be a little bit worried right now. Quite a lot falls on this next round. They can win it. They can start chipping away at that Tricked economy and try and close this gap. But if they lose it, they're back down to an eco. And Tricked, they're on to 7 and beyond. And with $10,000 in the bank for everybody, it's going to be a pretty scary one. We see Lollipop actually return to his chair. So it looks like we should be unpausing this one momentarily. Oh, even the gaming sleeve. You know, I've never actually used one of those, but I've seen them like forever. They like stop friction on your arm, don't they?
Is that what they're for?
Yeah,
I thought it just keep warm.
No. Well, I think part of it is because there's all sorts, isn't there? Like keep circulation going and stuff like that. But I think mainly it's to stop like friction burn on your mouse mat.
Oh,
yeah,
there's a lot of sense. Oh my God,
exactly.
that's one of those, Josh. I didn't realize that was the point.
Exactly, yeah. But we do see this 4-man boost come through. And remember, when Tricked did this the other day, it was so fast and so coordinated. They found an awesome pick early on. This time, Nemiga not going to fall into the trap. So Tricked, they wasted a little bit of time early, but in that time, Nemiga weren't able to take any short control. So Tricked can just reestablish it and start to go into this B default.
Smokes go down either way as Util goes flying, and with that, Tricks are going to bombard their way towards this site. MDS on this one way is going to try and find an initial kill, but Kia's already been able to find the first. MDS trades onto 1, but he needs a hell of a lot more than 1. Quez get the next set amount. Quez doubles up onto Lollipop there, as Box can trade, but he's still a man down. 3 on 2, Tricked looking to make it 7 now, and the Speedak can go huge. In a 1v3, elsewhere his teammates fall into Prime, and for Speedak, saving the sword may be the only true option here, and this is where things start to get scary for Nemiga.
It really does, doesn't it? If Speedak can carry this AWP across, then they have something to work with in the next, and with the loss bonus that's starting to accumulate, they could definitely pull out a half buy around it, but I don't think we'll see a full investment. I think we'll probably see them drop down to, just add those pistols and Kevlar, and Tricked, they might even be on for 8 here, which is pretty scary to meet that benchmark. Obviously here on Overpass, especially when it's your map pick, you're looking for like 8 rounds on your T side. I think that's kind of almost your minimum for your T side of Overpass, 7-8 rounds. And if you're already hitting that on round 10, and there's potential for you to extend it further and further, that is really, really scary. That's a dangerous prospect there for Nemiga, because there's an opportunity that they end up with only 5 rounds this half, maybe even less.
Right now for Nemiga, if you are Nemiga, Josh, now put yourself in Nemiga's point of view. You're on a map that you're not very good on, at least historically, okay? What is your kind of par like? Because we look at their statistics now, you just bear in mind that their T side is worse than their CT side. So if Nemiga go to their T side, they truly are in a tough spot. And at what point, do you think, okay, this is unwinnable? Because, usually we say 11-4 is kind of the furthest 2 teams could be a part of the game still being winnable. Is that kind of the same here for Nemiga?
Oh, it all just depends on how their T side plays out. Yeah, I honestly, I haven't casted Nemiga in quite a while. Now, I'm not sure why that is, because they're a team that I used to cast all of the time, but I haven't got to cover these guys in quite some time, and I'm not too sure how they play their T side of Overpass and how that's going to counter Tricked. I know that they're decent on Overpass. They don't play it all too often. It's one that they normally just float as a third map. Statistically, they don't actually favor their T side at all. They've got a 60% win rate on the CT side and about a 40% on that T side. So this is pretty scary for them if we're going off of stats. And I'm not sure how they recover it. If they do go 11-10 down, I think that might just be too far gone.
Yeah, I fear it maybe. If you are Nemiga right now with this retrieved gun, it looks like Box is desperately trying to find a rifle to retrieve, but they've thrown the ball out the map. A great read by Tricked, and means that Box has delegated down to the odd bit of saved utility, but he's only down to a 5-7 with a wee bit of armor. right now it's not worth saving. And even though Nemiga goes to a bye next round, it feels like they just haven't found anything that they can find repeatability in that works against Strict here.
And the issue is, okay, and obviously they have their reasons, and they know better than me, right? But in these rounds where they've not really got anything to save, and they're going for saves, it means that they're not doing damage to Trick's economy. Now, this one, you can kind of justify saving the Kevlar on the utility, even though you're on a buy in the next. But one that really sticks in my mind is the round a few back, where there was just a P250 and a CZ. There was no Kevlar, no utility, anything like that. And they went for a hard save call. And in a scenario like that, you should be trying to do damage. You should be trying to get a couple of exit frags just to keep your opponent's economy at bay. And because Nemiga, every single time they lose a couple of men, they just kind of roll over and lose and just go and save. It's allowed Trick's economy to get to a point where they're all at like $11,000, $12,000, and they've pretty much got enough money to buy out for the rest of the half, especially considering they're on this T side. So Nemiga have got their work cut out for them. If they want to try and bring this one back, they've got to face up against full buys in every single one of these remaining rounds of the half. We do see the watch actually over towards that boost. This time Trick aren't going to go for it. Instead, we actually just see a slow default all around the map. 3 players leaning towards a fountain, 1 in B short, 1 holding deep monster. Tricked not committing to anything just yet. They're just looking for someone to get aggressive and to capitalize and find an opening pick.
Looks like Box might be able to do just that in a moment as Tricked make their way down in towards toilets. Again, he's got that AUG in hand. He's sat towards Divider now, ready for this attack. MDS onto Prime. Now, if we can see Nemiga find another kill, that's going to make them in a really strong position. We see that MDS onto Quez now. Means that unless Zip can try and do something horrific onto Box here, we may see Nemiga go for their 3rd round here. There you go. Zip falls. Lucky and Kier, the last 2 members left standing in a 2-on-5. Realistically speaking, if Nemiga lose this, I would consider them out of the game. But the Speedak, so he tries his hand at aggression. Kier good for the first now. And with that, Box, he tries to trade. He's spotted out. There you have it. Kier falls. Lucky in a 1v4. You know, I mentioned Lucky's pretty good in the pre-game. I don't know if he's this good. And for now, as he clears towards hard sight, he'll hear the player make their way towards Dice. And fortunately for him, he is going to be caught out and shot from behind. J.O. swings wide. There you go. Lucky good for 1. Turns around. Box finishes the job. Nemiga with 3 now for Strict into... Again, they're going to rebuy. They've got all the economy in the world, but at least Nemiga build themselves a bit of momentum.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm quite surprised that Speedak gets aggressive there with a 3-man advantage. Definitely a mistake, but it's a mistake that I think they'll be able to shrug off. They keep 4 players alive. They win the round. It was really a must-win round there for them. And Tricked, they just kind of fell. I mean, I was quite surprised there. Zip didn't check that divider angle. He literally entertained the idea of throwing a Molotov there 20 seconds prior. And then when he walks up, completely neglects it. It's going to cost him his life. And now Tricked, a different avenue of approach. And actually, a different pace with it. They get right into B short. They take all of the control, make sure that no one's here, and now they get ready for this B execute. But they've left the bomb behind, so they have to be quite careful at this point. The boost over the top, though. Oh, that's so smart. It's a huge whiff from Prime. That should be a free kill for him all day long, and he's lost his life somehow.
That is going to weigh heavy on his mind right now. Zippy tries to trade through the smoke. Can't quite do so. It means that Lollipop is going to be ready on the off angle to try and fight Lucky. And Lucky, again, through the smoke, has tried and find a trade. Can't quite do so for Tricks. They're taking a fairly long time as well to rotate around. It means that we can see a stack from Nemiga as well towards this site. Quez, he's caught out by MDS as he boosts up onto sandbags. And as Zip finds Box, this does give an avenue of re-aggressment towards the safe site. But even then, is it enough? Actually, it very well may be. Suddenly a 3-on-3, and Tricks, out of nothingness, have found themselves a site.
Well, early round here, Tricked made some huge mistakes. I love the initiative for that boost. MDS has been playing that off angle for the past few rounds now, so for Tricked to go for that one, very, very smart indeed. Jo clears the angle, is fully aware that someone's there, and he will be able to take out Kier, but in the meantime, the C4 has gone down, put a fuse on the round. Zip's able to retrieve that sniper. Now 2 AWPs to try and hold this line. They've got the post-plant positions, they've got some utility to work with, but will they be able to connect the shots onto an Nemiga that are charging him from all angles? Both of the initial firefights missed, and as the flashes continue to rain in, Zip is fully blinded. Lucky though, flicking onto every member. Zip's gonna fall, but the Molotov, it lands on the bomb late. There's no smoke to extinguish it, and Tricked, they've certainly won this round. They're just looking to eliminate this sniper, and they're not going to be able to. Lucky deals the close shots with the Tech 9. He's gonna fall away and stay alive, and Tricked, they're on to 9 here.
We mentioned the round earlier where Tricks, they won a round they would have won a round they shouldn't have won. This is one of those rounds again. They were 2 men down. It shouldn't have been that close. It goes that close. That shouldn't have been 1 round, and it was. A beautiful retake and a beautiful outpart situation by Zip and Lucky there to both get their ults and play the range game. So really, really great read on their behalf, but that is where it kind of falls the question to Nemiga. What's happening? You shouldn't be losing 5v3s like that, especially when you have a good idea of where 2 of the remaining members are.
Absolutely, especially considering the flash is actually connected as well. Those AWPers, they were vulnerable. Multiple scenarios there. We've seen Nemiga go for the boosting connector. The timing, oh, it's impeccable. Kier walking right through the smoke. Should have the information that there's someone here in party, and he should be able to get a free kill. There we go, 2 for 1. In fact, not even 1, 2 for 0. He's still alive and kicking, not taking a single point of damage as they continue to press onto this A site. Trick looking for double digits right now, and they've got a 2-man advantage. Make that 3 as Zip finds 1 more, and Nemiga, they are crumbling here on Overpass.
If they don't find at least 4 rounds, I think the game's over, Josh. I genuinely think it is. Tricked right now. Credit where credit is due. Like, we're faulting Nemiga a fair bit. Tricked are playing this perfectly. Like, every single time they attack, there's someone there to watch the flank. There's someone there to trade. And Nemiga, they're just falling into it like a wasp to a Venus flytrap. And Tricked, it is an incredible way to play Overpass. It's a revel to behold as kс once again shuts down MDS. Go the last man of standing, attempts to save. He can't even do that. Beautiful shot by Kier there, and Tricks, they now lead 10-3, looking to make it 11, and for Nemiga, their economy once again is in tatters.
Tricked are just looking on fire right now as well. Not only is the coordination there, and obviously we see plays like that where Kier's just able to creep up connector, get the timing right, completely outmaneuver their opponents, and win on that side of things. They're also just winning all the aim duels. You see Nemiga fall away, begging for mercy there, begging to just be allowed to save a couple of rifles, and Tricked don't give them the opportunity. They find 2 crisp headshots to finish things off. And Nemiga, well, they're now just down to an eco. We see these pistols come out, accompanied by a little bit of Kevlar. There was a Taddy utility, but it's all been deployed early. Just leaves MDS with a smoke and Tricked. I don't think they're going to give Nemiga any opportunity here. We see the stack towards B. Now they start to rotate in unison, and they might actually be able to get to that A site before Tricked breach their way up long, which they absolutely will. Now they have to contend with these pistols, but Tricked, surely they come out on top in this one.
Unless we see some true aim duels from Nemiga right now, they don't have any utils to reaggress, so it's purely going to come down to individual aim duel and the ability to trade one another. Trick, they make their way forward, they spot out the first, they know the second's there, Lollipop trades onto 1, 2, there's Speedak there to help out, and suddenly Tricks have collapsed. They run into a stack in Nemiga, they come out on top there with 4, leaving Tricks in a really bad position, as yes, they rebuy, but the reality is, Nemiga, they now see a glimmer of hope in a game that really should have been closed shut to them.
Speedak and Lollipop are so dangerous with those Desert Eagles. And there we go. Tricked to convert to the first kill into a round 8 out of 9 times. And that round there was the first time that they lost it. So they were 8 for 8 just before that one. Losing to the pistols, though, that's going to be rough. But to be honest, they're already on to 10 rounds. They look to make it 11 here. And even if they can't, it's a very good half on their part. Walking into the Deagle stack there on the A site, it's just unfortunate, but a fantastic read there from Nemiga. And it puts them somewhat back into the picture. If they can take this 5th and accompany it with a pistol, then they really are back into this one and have a real good opportunity at pulling it back. However, there are multiple win conditions there for them. And Tricked, I'm not sure if they're going to allow either of them to come through. They're looking great right now.
Nemiga again, just holding back. They don't want to fight just yet. And right now, Tricked are going to look to play that to their advantage. Set piece goes down. Speedak good for 1. Kier there to trade as now the A site finds itself besieged as Jo makes his way towards bank. Lucky holding the flank onto box keeps him down for the time being. There's kс falling. There's the bomb now, and that's going to delay this afterplant situation quite heavily now. Jo might have looked to go through the smoke, but Kier's ready for it. Good for 1. He knows the second might be a very real possibility as Lollipop 2K makes his way forward. Kier, good for him. He knows there's a third. MDS shifting into his crosshair. Can he come out on top? Not quite yet, but as the flash goes out, he's able to find the first. Zip there to trade of the Tricked. That'll be an 11-4 half and a really good way to start their series against Nemiga.
Tricked with Kier, it didn't feel like we were saying his name all too much in those early rounds, but then he just woke up right at the end, was having some incredible performances. We just saw him on the cams just there. He is on fire right now, and in these last 3 or 4 rounds, we've seen him find big multi-kills. We saw another 3K in that one. Really, really sensational stuff. And as we go into this second half, they're 11-4 up. If they can accompany it with a pistol, then I think they might just be able to close here.
You're absolutely right, and this pistol round really is going to be what dictates the pace of this series. Nemiga, they go for an early peek towards Fountain. It's spotted out by Kier as he backs on away. He doesn't fully back away. Instead, we see a bait setup kind of put into place towards toilets as Nemiga make their way forward. They've got 2 smokes, 2 flashes, and a molly to ease their passing, but over towards those over at Tricked, it's going to be 2 flashes and a kit. That bit more armor means that they're going to be here for some aim duels, and as MDS spots out the first member, kills go not quite either way, but damage certainly does. There's lucky good for one MDS there to trade. Joe to find Kier, puts Nemiga a man up, and over for Tricked now. This site is going to be a tough old ahead. Quez, again, in the kind of one-and-done position here now. Is he taken down instantly? No, he's not. Good for one. He knows there's a second. Doubles up. Speedak there to trade, though, putting it down to 2-on-2, and suddenly Tricked. They bear a bit of equity in this round.
I liked the early configuration there from Tricked, but they just can't connect the shots. And Zip now left in a 2-on-1. Gets dinked early by the Glock. Now 2 points of health to work with. And Nemiga know it. They swing together in unison and they find the closing kill. It's 5 rounds on the board for them. And Tricked, that's unfortunate. As I say, this initial crossfire was pretty fantastic. And then Quez, in that one-and-done position, actually manages to find 2. So brings those numbers back level, but Tricked just can't get the job done at the end. So Nemiga, they win the pistol. Obviously, they still need 6 in a row to actually close out this scoreline, and they have to face up against a force buy here from Tricked, where they've got Deagles to work with first. But do you know what? That's their win condition coming through. They really do have potential here to try and pull this one back. Remember, though, it was Prime, the man that was hitting all the 1-deags the other day. He's the one to look out for in these force buy rounds like this. Oh,
that's an opening as Kier fires box. Elsewhere, we find in a 4-on-3, Tricked now. A bit of a tough spot now. Nemiga, if they do want to come back and if they do want to really find a way to get back into this game, it's got to start with this round. Prime on a really good flank right now. He spots out the first. He knows there's more where that came from, though. He deploys the smoke to buy some time, and I love that play there. Elsewhere, Zip onto Lollipop, puts himself in an advantageous position. Joyo good for another. Now this second kill is pivotal. As there's the kill. Prime now in a 1v2. He's got to shift through the smoke into Speedak. And I think with that, Speedak, does he try and go through? That he does. Oh, it's close. But Speedak comes out on top. Nemiga, they make it 6, and they force Tricked down to an eco where they might actually have a chance to give Nemiga a bit of economy here.
That was such a smart round there from Prime. He even had the advantage in that final engagement. But with that Galil, it only does the dink, and the AK, it responds with a headshot. 11-6. Looks like it's going to go 11-7 with nothing really to work with here for Tricked. We do see a couple of Deagles come out, one in the hands of Prime once again. We saw a nice 1-dig from Kier in the last as well. So definitely damage dealt from Tricked. That forces reinvestments here for Nemiga, and it means that actually almost all of these players don't have a whole lot of money to work with. So if Tricked can do further damage here, it keeps the Nemiga economy at bay. And Prime, he's looking to do so, and he absolutely does so. Nice headshot, and it gets an AK in the meantime.
Kills either way, and Quez, he makes himself known, and unfortunately he realizes he's picked up a gun without ammo in it, but MDS now, he's forced to back away. Quez, he has a tendency to bite. I think MDS realizes that he's got to give Quez a bit of respect here, as Quez, given space, has been able to back away now. Deagle in hand, he'll try to challenge anyone who comes up short. Can't quite do so. Instead, it's Kier to finish the blow. And now man advantage for Trick now on the Zico. Boxy's tagged down, but he still survives. And there's that silver lining. I think from there, they should be able to keep a grip on this round. We see Lucky rotate towards Heaven, doing damage wherever he can. Can't quite catch out these members, but Kier definitely can through the smoke. All on Speedak now. 1 versus 1 on the high ground. Drops down, trying to find a hole in this smoke, but instead, Kier comes out on top. Beautiful round by Kier there. And Drix, they eco Nemiga.
That might just be it. This could be the beginning of the end with Tricked finding that eco round. It strips Nemiga away from what was rightfully theirs. Yeah, they should be able to close out a couple of rounds there, close up this scoreline, and instead it sits 12-6. The other day, we literally talked about it. Tricked, they're so dangerous on their eco rounds because when they go for an eco, they don't just buy nothing. We do see a couple of deagles come out, and these guys are young, talented Danish aimers, and they hit some incredible shots, and we see a beautiful showcase of it there once again. Nemiga are going to be kicking themselves right now. And coming into round number 19, I'm not sure what this buy is at all. JO's gone for a Kevlar with a Glock, Lollipop's got a Kevlar and a P250, and Box has gone for a Hero AK with 2 others saving. I don't get this at all. I mean, we'll wait and see. Maybe it works, but I think it's unlikely, and it might just completely polarize this economy.
It's hybrid, to say the least, isn't it? He misses his initial shot as Box actually pressures him down. Now, Kier, from his angle now, he might be caught out from Jo, and he is. The timing doesn't favor him at all. He's got to try and back away. He's swarmed by Speedak and Tricked now. I don't really know what they're doing here, Josh.
Oh, this is awful. Tricked might be given a taste of their own medicine. Finally, Prime can eliminate the only man with the AK. But Jo and Lollipop, remember they went for a bizarre Kevlar investment? Well, that seems to have paid off because they've now found rifles, and now they've got no disadvantages whatsoever. A 1v3 for Prime to clutch up. He's a fantastic player, but I'm not too sure if he'll be able to pull this one in. Knows that there's a man up close as he comes in. I think he might have spotted him to the left, but instead it's Jo to swing, and somehow Nemiga bounced back off of that. That is such a bizarre round to be winning, and Tricked, they just over-aggress there. And a round like that, where realistically they should know that they're up against a very low buy, they're trying to take toilets control, and it costs them.
I'm genuinely just confused at what that round was. Again, Nemiga, they go for a bit of a Hero AK on Box. It works, don't get me wrong, it works, but Tricked, they kind of had it to them there. Tricked, they respond to a force with a force, so we see that all come out unlucky, but on everyone else, it'll be Deagles. What that means is that Lucky is going to have to go very aggressive, and, well, we're going to have to see if it works for him here. Again, boosted up towards B short. Nemiga haven't quite pushed into it yet, but the nade stack is just perfect by Nemiga now. And that is the pure embodiment of anti-stratting as they now look to come out ahead of Tricks and more importantly, look to try and force them into a bit of an economic crisis.
What makes that 10 times worse is that Tricked haven't been going for that boost. So the fact that Nemiga have anticipated that based on the buy is incredible. MDS, beautiful headshot there onto Kier. Zip is able to find one back, so the numbers even for a second or two there, but still one in the favor of Nemiga as we come down to this minute 5 mark. Prime getting up close, knows that he needs to take some kind of engagement here towards short to re-establish some control for Tricked, and actually level these numbers back out. Nemiga, for now, still looking like they want to commit to this B execute, and that's where this sniper's still posted on the pillar.
Right now, Zip is the only savior Tricked can rely on. These Deagles, while they are good good for AKs? As Zip, flash off the initial position, is forced away, and with that, the Deagles cancelled out. It's all on Quez. Good for one. Nice early shots, and is it the only shot he hits? That it is. Speedak, while he's damaged, he isn't killed, and as Nemiga now make it 8, they look like they might actually be able to come back against Tricked here.
It's certainly looking that way, isn't it? One of the win conditions, of course, for Nemiga was to win that pistol and to actually take the follow-ups. And despite the little hiccup in the middle, they have managed to do that precisely. Now 12-8. Tricked haven't got much money to work with at all. Nemiga could make this 9, and at that point, there's not too much of a deficit at all. There's 3-round gap between them, and there's not too much. It's not like it's too close to the end. Yeah, there's enough time to play with that they can claw those rounds back. Box has 6 AK kills out of a total 10 kills in the last 6 rounds. So, I mean, I suppose that's to be expected when they're on that T side, but nonetheless, having a big impact here.
Yeah, Box has really woken up in the second half, I'd argue, and Nemiga, they actually hit B just as Tricked look to collapse onto Fountain. Fortunately, Tricked, they rolled the dice with their attack. It comes up blank, and that's kind of understandable for an eco. Sometimes it works admirably, sometimes it doesn't. You can't really have a consistency with it, and for Nemiga, they can be more than happy to get this plant and win a round to build eco. For Tricked, the odd exit is going to be their game plan here, and maybe they can find the odd member, but it'll be a hard ask at that.
Well, with that C4 down, Tricked, they're just looking for exits right now, and it looks like they might actually be able to get them. Nemiga funneling into their position. They've got 3 players here, and I think they're expecting to be able to overwhelm these pistols. But Tricked, they've got a nice configuration. They could do some serious damage in this position. And Nemiga, they're not going to encroach too far. They know that there's potential that there are members around this corner, but you can expect Trick to go for the swing at the very last second. That seems to be the plan here. Flash in the hands of kс, and as he deploys it over the top, they will all swing into the angle. And you know what? They walk straight into the blender. Not a single kill found as Tricked. They all fall like flies. And going into round number 22, we will see a buy-up from them. But this is a buy-up to deny their opponents onto double digits, and actually to deny their opponents from closing out this scoreline too.
This is a perfect position to be in. I think if you are this, honestly, if you are Nemiga, like, yeah, we kind of BM'd them a little bit at the start of this half about how they were just looking messy. Now they've hit their T side. And what you see a lot from teams at this sort of level is that their CT side is what lets them down, simply because they don't practice the map enough. Whereas Nemiga, well, they have played it a few times, they don't really play with that pass. And now they hit their T side, they've rely on their aim and cohesion of a team, which is something that can transition from map to map. And now they rely on that, they're actually really doing some damage against Tricked here, who, as they fired an initial pick once again, they forced Lucky into an awkward position. Elsewhere, Zip can trade, but is it enough?
Well, 4 versus 4, a lot of damage been dealt here and there. And Speedak aggressing onto Long. Oh, the AWP on Lucky. Didn't spot him coming in from the right side of the box, but Speedak, he fires off the shot too quickly, doesn't connect it, gives Lucky an opportunity to fall away. And with the flash there to support him, he can get right out of toilets and into a nice safe position where he has support from his teammates on the site. For now, Nemiga have actually left this C4 in the T spawn, and Box clearing out his angles towards Monster. Prime, big whiff there. I don't know how he's not fired off the shot, but it costs him his life, and now the man advantage. Nemiga, they're going to retrieve this C4, start to walk towards B. There's only one defender posted here. It's Zip, right at the end of Monster. Might have to do some huge work here to hold this line.
Yuto goes down, flashes go out, and now Zip, we see hero play right now. Good for 1, tries to double up, can do so, not quite 3, but he may have done enough. It puts it down to a 2-on-2, 2-on-1 now as Lucky finds himself alone, but Lucky finds himself in a duel for the bomb right now. MDS needs to be so careful as he's killed. Lucky, he wins the round for Tricks. A great read by him to go aggressive, and he's played it to perfection. Aggressive gets the kill and just runs off. Unfortunately, Nemiga unable to get the bomb plant, allow Trick to make it 13 now, as Trick lead 13-9. Also, Nemiga, yes, they can reinvest, but will it be enough for them, as Tricks may have found themselves the key to the enigma?
Well, Zip on this off angle does exactly what's needed, finds himself those 2 kills, and honestly, it's a big mistake from Jayo. I understand his position, I understand he's there to catch off the connector rotations, and he's actually able to do so. But with such little time on the clock, once it gets to that 20-30 second mark, he has to start to rotate to help his teammates. Otherwise, it ends up like that. His teammate dies, and there's not enough time for him to actually retrieve that C4 and get it planted. So it loses them the round. Now they are at a 4-round deficit as Tricked 3 away from this magic number. And Nemiga, okay, they've got enough for a buy here. We'll actually see another investment in the next 2, if that's needed, as Box finds a very nice opening. Tricked, I think they've just got to stop going for that boost. The last 2 times they've gone for it, it's cost them their lives.
I'll tell you what, Nemiga, credit where credit's due, though, because Nemiga, they've been able to punish it very well. And it feels like Nemiga might have actually kind of tuned in to Trick's position. And once again, we see another advantage. MDS onto Kier means that Trick seriously have to go aggressive now to try and keep the man count even. But at that, it'll be a tough old ask as we see kс make his way down towards B short. Looks like Prime might try and flash him in. But as he hugs the other side of the smoke, you need to bear in mind that Nemiga already have a 3-man commitment to this site. They're going to be more than ready to fight anything that comes their way, and that may play heavily to Trick's detriment here.
It absolutely could. 2-man disadvantage, but Tricked have got the 3-man triangle configuration here on the B site. And Nemiga, if they commit to this, it could cost them. But instead, they start to rotate up connect. MDS, he's got right into toilets, realized it's clear. They've anticipated that this is going to be a B stack. And despite the very little time on the clock, they will be able to capitalize. They get onto this A site. This C4 will go down. I wouldn't be surprised if we just see Trick save in this scenario.
Honestly, I think that's probably the best call for Tricks. We see them open-handed lucky. Primy's got an AUG, and kS as well also has head armor. There's no utility, there's no kit, but we look at their money, Lucky, Prime, and kS with 50 total. Prime and kS with 0. They cannot afford to lose these guns, and as the Nemiga making their way down towards Playground, it feels like they might actually try and hunt down Tricks right now, which is worst case scenario for this Danish side.
Yeah, if Nemiga regress any further, Tricked are going to be in a very, very sticky situation. But by the looks of things, they don't want to. They haven't got tons of cash themselves, and they know that they kind of need to hold on to what they have if they want a really good opportunity at actually making this comeback happen. Tricked are going to call a timeout off of the back of this one to discuss what kind of buy they can go for here, because if you save 3 rifles, you kind of do have to force, but they haven't got a whole lot of money to do so. However, this timeout does give us an opportunity to talk about our fantastic partners over at Pinnacle. It's the Pinnacle Cup, remember? They're the ones that make this happen. And if you do want to place a bet on this match or any other matches here in the Pinnacle Cup, then make sure you head over to pinnacle.com/Pinnacle Cup. They've got all of the games you can bet on, and they've got some fantastic odds. So make sure you head over there. Please be over 18, and please, please, please gamble responsibly. Terms and conditions apply and all of that fun stuff. But yeah, it's definitely the place to be if you want to be placing any bets on these. As we get back into the game, it's going to be round number 24, and Tricked's opportunity to potentially steal away one more, get that little bit closer to the finish line. But Nemiga, well, they're hot on their heels, and they're looking very, very fierce.
We see Tricks with a couple of flashes, the odd smoke, but without, actually they've already used the flashes. With the 2 smokes single-handedly to try and stop Nemiga, it's going to be a tough ask. And while they go for that little boosting connector to try and find a man advantage, none has come just yet. None's presented itself. As the Nemiga, they inch their way towards the long. It's a 4-man commitment, and they might look to just accelerate towards the safe site right now. Last time Tricks tried this, it was into the eco stack of Nemiga, and it seriously screwed them over. However, I think Nemiga, knowing that stack, considering they're the ones who played it themselves, knowing the stack's possible, they may be a bit more careful with this. Again, we see players teasing a peek towards toilets to make sure there's nothing too aggressive. And as Lollipop finds the initial opening, once again, Tricked go a man down.
Not a good start here for Tricked, but Lucky's able to find one back. Boost over the smoke. Really fantastic stuff there. And Kia with this Deagle might be able to get something done. Instead, it's Prime on the flank to give them the man advantage. And with 50 seconds left on this clock, and Nemiga, they've been funneled into long, and they're now stuck here. Despite the fact that Prime's not actually reaggressing from behind, Nemiga have that pressure that they have to worry about. They have to watch their backsides. And as they walk and they go across here, there's definitely potential that they fall to Lucky. They've got the utility to clear his angle, but he's on such a tight angle that he can just fall away. And there we go. Kier, beautiful headshot. What can Nemiga do here?
Whoa. Speedak, that's a beautiful trade. Oh, he makes it a double onto kS there as he goes 2-on-2. Prime now looking to go through the smoke towards Car. We'll have a try at a fight. Lucky onto Speedak, leaves it all onto Box in a 1v2. He's definitely in the back line, but Lucky, he finishes the job. A great force buy by Trick there, and the safe rifles used to perfection. But credit where credit's due to Speedak there. Those are some incredible shots, but it wasn't quite enough.
Absolutely, yeah, but I mean, we've got to give the most credit in this round to Lucky. They lose the man advantage. There's a deep smoke there and long. He uses that initiative and says, okay, we need to fight back here. We can't just stay on the site and allow them to take full A control. Boost me over. Goes for it, hits the shot. Then he doesn't overstay his welcome. He doesn't reaggress. He falls right back, and as the Nemiga funnel their way in and they go for the retake, he's able to hit the 2 finishing blows. Lollipop is currently 3-1 in duels against Prime. So imagine if you were playing a deathmatch, it would have that little red icon that says you're being dominated, because Prime is not having a fun time here, especially not against Lollipop.
He's not. It's been a rough game for him, but right now the true kind of test of tenacity will be, are they able to kind of come together and kind of recuperate and reform for Inferno, because that really is where Nemiga need to be feared. And the fact Nemiga have done this much damage to them on Overpass means that they're definitely going to be feeling it when we move to that next map. Flashes go out again as Nemiga hold a bit of a default right now with this B control. They're going to throw a few smokes towards B just to keep Tricked on their toes. But the reality is, with this default, they're more after an initial pick, which Lucky might be looking to refute.
Just the AKs to work with here for Nemiga. No sniper comes out despite the fact they can afford it. And there we go. Boost to their own. This time it catches out Prime. Kier's able to trade on the flank. And MDS, he's now in a very, very tricky position. But he hears all the sound cues and he's playing it to the T. But no, timing doesn't work out in his favor. Kier eliminates him. Lollipop looks to aggress on short. Wins the duel onto Zip. Brings this back down into a 3-on-3. And with only Quez here to hold, he has to stay alive here. He has to do some damage as well. Holding the right position as soon as he spots out Jo will fire off the shots, but Jo somehow quicker to the trigger. And with Lollipop finding one more, it leaves it all down to Lucky. A 3-on-1, the C4 yet to go down, but it will do momentarily. And what on earth can Lucky do here?
And a 1v3, he makes his way forward. The reality is he's got a tough ask ahead of him. He's got all of Nemiga at the ready, and as he tries to just find an initial pick on someone aggressing to him, nothing comes. He slowly shifts back, he slowly ebbs away, and for the most part, Nemiga aren't really hunting him, so it means he will be able to hold on to this AWP. But the real kind of preface to look at here is that Nemiga, they narrow the kind of round separation, just 3 rounds. Tricked. Even though they had an incredible first half, that is slowly being unwoven in front of them, as Nemiga really look like they're warming to their theme now on this T side of Overpass.
And this game, it's kind of going backwards, yeah? And it's why I always say you can't lean on the statistics too much, because historically, Nemiga, they really like their CT side here on Overpass, and they suck on their T side. And this game, we've seen the complete opposite. We saw them go 11-4 down in that first half when they were on the defense, and now they're moving over to the attack. They're having much, much more success. Maybe that's just because they take a little bit of time to get warmed up, and now they're feeling this match a little bit more. They found their footing. Or maybe it really is to do with the play style of Tricked just tailoring towards Nemiga's T side. We see them aggress towards B early on once again, and this time I think this is actually going to be an incredibly fast play.
Those some perfect flashes as well, as Zip's taken down instantly down by Box. Elsewhere, Lollipop on the flank, good for 1. Can't quite double up though, as Kier's there, good for 1. Prime on the other side is able to find MDS, is able to find Speedak as well. Prime doubles up before he's taken down, as Box able to respond, putting Box down into a 1 versus 2 now, center sight. Knowing that there's 2 players around him, he's able to pick up that bomb, he's able to pick up that AK, but it all feels like silver linings now as he bombs it up towards this A site in full knowledge that Tricks are going to be coming for him, but it's heard by Lucky. The man who's going to try and cancel this out. AWP in hand, it's going to be a 1-shot to Box no matter where it hits him. And as Lucky comes up from long, how does Box even begin to predict this?
Well, it looks like he's going to check it. Oh, he doesn't swing wide enough. Still entertaining the idea that someone might be hugging that right wall on long, and he gets himself into a good position. This is going to be so difficult for Lucky to clear right now, and if he walks across, it could definitely cost him his life. Box is in the perfect spot. He just has to get timing on his side, and Lucky, as he clears out all the other angles, he is going to start to realize that this final man, he has to be in toilets. Box pokes his head up. It's a little bit of a whiff, but he connects, and Lucky responds with absolute pinpoint precision, hits the shot, gets on the defuse just in the nick of time, and Tricked are going to be able to make it 15. What a sensational round.
That was scary, Josh. That was damn scary. But luckily for Tricked, as they now make it 15, they take a timeout, and they do have the comfort of 4 rounds in which they're going to be able to try and close it out. If you're over at Nemiga, they do still have economy, so they're still going to be forcing against Tricked. They're still going to be able to fight them with rifles. We might see an AWP come out as well. What's interesting as well is that Nemiga, they haven't really brought out an AWP for most of this game. They've been preferring the 5 rifle setups. We now finally do see an AWP onto Speedak, but it feels like Nemiga really have been favoring a 5 rifle setup and then opted for the maneuverability rather than that kind of static defense that an AWP provides.
Well, Lucky, if there's one thing, it's definitely that he has been on fire with this sniper. And I'm just not sure what Nemiga can do here. They need 4 rounds in a row. And we see Tricked, whilst their rounds have been scattered, they've been more consistent towards the tail end of this CT side. And, well, this could be the final round here on Overpass. We see Lucky looking for this aggression towards middle. Does spot out the man jumping. Can't fire off the shot in time, though. And Nemiga, they go for their good old-fashioned default. 2 players into short, 1 in the connector, 1 holding Deep Monster, and 1 in playground. With Zip jump spotting, you will confirm that that is the case. And Prime actually looking to aggress here, takes some spam damage, in fact takes tons of spam damage, and he is going to have to fall away off the back of it. Not the best start here from Tricked, but it's still a 5v5.
This leaves this side of Nemiga in a really tough position. Nice early shot as they try to take down a member, You see flashes go out as well as the swing goes wide. No kills found just yet, though, but Tricked slowly being choked by Nemiga, who are playing this round like a boa constrictor. As MDS finds Kier, this forces Lucky forward to try and trade, but MDS ready for it. A beautiful read as Lucky's taken down. Elsewhere, Quez and Zip try their aggression towards B. It works perfectly, leaving us in a 3-on-3.
3-on-3 with a lot of damage dealt, the majority of it here onto Tricked and Nemiga. They're going to reconvene, regroup, head towards this B site, but that's where Tricked are stacked up to. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath to determine the final scoreline of this one. And as Tricked start to aggress in Monster, MDS, he has to go huge here. He spotted out all three of them, fires through for the first two. Quez is there to trade it, but Speedak from the right-hand side, unanticipated, incognito, finishes off the job. And Nemiga, they're on to 12. 3 more rounds needed to take this to OT, and it's going to be a freebie in the next. Tricked have no money whatsoever. Surely, no. Okay, a couple of players are on double eco. They're going to go for the Force. If they don't win this one, Nemiga have got a real good shot at taking this one to further rounds.
I fear for Tricked right now, who really don't have too much economy at all. In fact, this Force buy is really their kind of Hail Mary at this point. Nemiga really looking very, very strong right now.
Well, not the best of starts here from Tricked once again. They take 2 casualties, and now they look to try and reaggress onto short, see if they can find something to work with. Kier's the man in connector. He could definitely do some damage as MDS starts to aggress. But I don't think Tricked have got a lot of hope in this one, and I'm not the biggest fan of the Force buyer. I know that they wouldn't be able to afford him the next anyway, but I'd rather them save on to a little bit of money, especially Lucky, hold on to a little bit of extra cash so that he can have that sniper in round number 30, it will be actually, before they go for the next buy up. And Nemiga, they're in a very comfortable position right now. I think they'll be quite happy.
MDS ready to try and catch out an initial member, but Quez not quite peeking in for the time being, but timing is everything right now. Quez just sitting back though, and I tell you what, Josh, if you are Tricked right now, I actually see this going to overtime. Pretty convincingly, because Nemiga, they have seriously woken up right now when they seem to have a bit of a rhythm to their T side that Trick haven't really been able to match. There's still 2 men up as they make their way towards B. Only 30 seconds left, and while they don't have B water control, it may not matter.
It's just a save call here from Tricked early. That was the whole configuration. They say, okay, we've got a man aggressive on A. We've got 2 players in B short. If they go for a 5-man monster take, we're just going to save. And that's a really smart play. It means that they're able to carry across a couple of these weapons into the next round, which will be a full eco. So more potential for them to do damage with them there. But still, it's going to be 13 here for Nemiga. And then it will be 14 in the next, as long as they can dispose of these saved SMGs and scouts. And then we're playing round number 30. That's the final decider. That's Trick's last chance to try and get this one closed in regulation. Otherwise, you're absolutely right. We will be going to bonus rounds. And considering this was an 11-4 half that quickly followed up with a 12-6 scoreline, I'm very, very surprised that Trick have allowed Nemiga to pull this one right back.
Likewise, it shouldn't be this close. It genuinely shouldn't be. And the fact that Nemiga have kind of done it with this much conviction makes me genuinely think that Tricked might have a serious issue when it comes to Inferno. Bear in mind that this is their comfort pick. Yeah, we mentioned how if Nemiga wants to take the series, it needs to be in a 2-0 fashion. Right now, Mirage, I still feel like Nemiga just gets stomped on. But the fact that they've been able to do this much damage to Tricked here, the fact that they may even take it to overtime against Tricked on Overpass makes me genuinely fear for this side.
Yeah, they've definitely lost too many rounds here on Overpass, and considering they are really looking to take map 2, they've been pressured here, especially in this second half. Their confidence is probably not going to be too great right now. I really like this boost, though. Kier trying to take some advantages in a round like this where there's not a whole lot to lose. See if you can find an early man, take the risk of maybe someone peeking into connector that they don't have control of, remember. For now, though, Lollipop fully aware that this angle is a thing, and he's holding it just that little bit deeper. So not going to be showing anything for now. And with a minute 10 on this clock, Nemiga, they do start to regroup, and we will see them later in the round probably go for a B here, but not without some flashes to accompany it. And there we go. Ooh. Kier actually able to spot out the man, but can't connect the shots.
That is a bit rough for Nemiga there, or for Trick there, as they now make their way forward to a bit of a rush. It's Lollipop to find the first member, and as the lifeless body of Zip falls back, Lucky hits the collateral, but as Jay responds, it's still a 3-on-3. Is it enough for Nemiga now as they make their way forward? Speedak able to find Lucky, leaving it all down to Kieran Quez. Quez on a bit of a flank, but it needs to come pretty damn quickly. Box good for 1. Jo not quite able to trade, but Box will be there to make it 2. Nemiga now 1 round away from equalising and taking it to overtime as they ruin the Tricked economy. However, Tricked, on the merits of their saves, are able to just get a grimace of economy enough to play. And someone played from a black hole there.
I was just about to say, turn the lights on, my friend. It's very, very dark in his room. But, I mean, when was the last time you saw a collat with a scout, especially against a buy like that? It really got me on the edge of my seat there, but of course, it just wasn't enough. Now he's got that sniper in hand, does a hell of a lot more damage, but Nemiga, they're going back to Old Faithful. They've had so much success on this B side, on this T side of things, that they're just going to press through, take this early control, and Tricked, they're going to gift it to them. We do see a 4-man setup here to defend, but is it going to be enough? The executes, the smokes, they run over the top, and Nemiga, they just need to get this one more round finished to take this one to OT.
We see this side attempt to hold, and well, Moxley finds the first Lucky there to trade instantaneously. MDS get the next set of them out of Speedak onto Lucky now, puts Nemiga in a really strong position now. Prime and Quez need to see some true heroics now to try and hold, and well, Prime, he's not able to find the first, or he is, sorry, it's Quez not to be able to find the first, and as shots go either way, Nemiga equalised 15-15, and tell you what, Josh, I'm really excited to fear for Tricks.
Absolutely, me too. Very, very unfortunate indeed. Tricked were, well, looking really strong. I actually thought that they would 100% be able to close this one out, and they've choked it. They're now in this position where they've got to completely turn this one around. We've seen their economy looking pretty shabby in these last few rounds, so now that they've actually got the cash to pull out a big old buy, we see the double snipers. Let's see if this works out for them. Realistically, they just need to take probably 1 round here on their CT side, and when they move over to the attack, they'll be far more confident. What we don't want to see, though, is them losing the next 3 in a row, and then they're required to take 3 in a row on their T side just to take it to a secondary OT. They really need at least 1 or 2 rounds here on this CT side to give me the confidence to be sure that they can make this happen.
If you are this side, then, if you are the side of Nemiga, how many rounds are you aiming for on your T side?
On your T side, Nemiga have got to aim for as many as they can on their T side. Realistically, they need 2, preferably 3, because their CT side sucked. Yeah, it was really bad. And Tricks were looking fantastic on their attack. All of their coordination, just their the way that they outmaneuvered their opponents was something really, really to praise. It was pretty incredible. We saw round after round them just read their opponents like a book and get these flanks going in, take control of areas just as Nemiga were leaving them and things like that. Trick just had a fantastic read on Nemiga's defense. So Nemiga really, really do need 2 or 3 rounds here on this T side to have a good chance of finishing this one off. The issue that Tricked face is I think that Nemiga can absolutely pull that off, considering how well we've seen them play in these last 5 or 6.
We'll see if they can do so. We'll generally see if they can do so. And honestly, Josh, I would be surprised if we see double OT right now, because both sides have really had a very tough showing when it's come to their CT side. We see Lucky now, he'll try and go aggressive with this AWP, trying to get an initial peek on one of these members. Can't quite spot anyone just yet. There was he backs it away. And with that, Nemiga, again, just fan out into map control. The same formula that's been working for them for the entirety of the second half now gives them a chance to try and warm to their theme.
What worries me here is that Tricked are going for the exact same setup that hasn't been working for them for the last 15 rounds. Prime is going to jump spot, does spot box in that one, but Lucky back towards long. There we go. Speedak going in back first, and Lucky will connect onto it. That's the man advantage that Tricked have been looking for. And with taking it, I am really starting to favor them in this round just that little bit. But Zip aggressive with this sniper. It's such a dangerous angle. He needs to connect here and fall away. And as the smoke starts to rain over the top, I'm worried for him.
That nade stack is perfect onto Prime. Zip tries to aggress, but MDS ready for it. And Tricked now, they have been anti-stratted to hell. kс in the close monster smoke is going to try and duel Duo. He's able to come out on top as he backs it away, though. Lollipop's going to swarm him. Lollipop now, as he needs to charge, finds himself with a 3-on-2. Kier boosted up, will try and find an initial pick. It's messy, and as he can't find the kill, that's going to alert Nemiga to the rest of the Tricked positioning. Plant goes down on behalf of Box. MDS good for one. All unlucky alone. Lollipop finishes the job, and Nemiga find themselves ahead.
Despite the man advantage gain there from Tricked, they throw it in the bin. It's a fantastic nade stack from Nemiga to eliminate that Barrels player. And then off of the back of it, I don't understand what they've done there. It's come back into a 4-on-4. They've still got full control. They've still got 2 defenders towards this B site. They've still got 2 defenders aggressive on A. They've got that round. Yeah, they can very, very easily hold on to that one. They've still got util that they can deploy. And instead, they get super aggressive. They try and take back that man advantage. And they lose every single engagement in the process. Kier darting through the mid-smoke, desperate to try and change something up and catch Nemiga off guard, but Box is ready and waiting for it. Man advantage in their favor once again, and Tricked, they're looking like they're really struggling here on this defense.
It goes down to a 4-on-3, and right now it's a really tough spot if you are Tricked. Lucky called out by MDS in rotation, and it feels like Nemiga, no matter what Tricked try, they have a solution for it, which is kind of weird to say considering Nemiga don't really play an overpass. Feels like a map they're happy to play, but it's not one they pick into. And Tricked on the flip side, they really play overpass. It's one of their highest win-rated maps, and Nemiga seem to be running circles around them, especially on this T side.
That's always the thing, though. Even on your defense, you can say to yourself all day long, we're really good on our CT, on overpass, especially when you're playing lots of regional matchups and things like that. But as soon as you play against a team like Nemiga, who have just got this different playstyle, it can be so much harder. Zip does find one, but it's instantly traded. Now it's all on to kс' shoulders. Pokes his head up, perfect timing, finds the head of Lollipop. But now a 2 versus 1, his position's known, and Nemiga, they're either going to plant it around the other side of the truck or even go down to B. Instead, it's going to be the former, and kс coming in, doesn't quite get the timing right on the cross towards Dumpster, tucks his head below, and as soon as he pokes it up, JO's going to rip it clean off, accompanied by the flashbang there of Speedak, and Nemiga, they're on to 17. They've met that benchmark of 2 on this T side. Let's see if they can make it a 3rd.
I feel like that's a pretty strong position to be in. Again, with 2 on the T side, we saw that even in regulation time, each side were able to win rounds. Like, they were able to win rounds, and what that means for me, at least, is that, well, Tricked definitely need at least 1 here. Nemiga, for the most part, if they can hit match point on their T side, makes me think this game may be over here.
Oh, it's definitely shaping up that way. Nice nade stack once again. Zip, he's only sticking around that angle for the jump spot, but he takes loads of damage, and Prime gets his head ripped off on the peak. A man advantage here for Nemiga, and if they can make this 18, I think they should be able to finish this one up. Lollipop, so quick to deploy the smoke grenade to extinguish the flames just below him, and as Speedak finds one more, Tricked, they're crumbling once again. They're defaulting into this B site. They're going to rotate all 3 members, and Nemiga, do they walk into it, or do they just regress towards A?
Even if Nemiga walk into it, like, could Tricked stop it? Like, they don't have much util. They've got single molly unlucky. The rest are going to have to rely on flashes with, like, the odd smoke. But as kс is taken down by the boosted member of Box, feels like Nemiga, even though I think they know they're running into a stack, but they don't care. Tricked right now are in such a tough position. As Lucky finds the first, Zip is tagged down himself. MDS good for 1. Lucky alone now is finished off. Nemiga, they lead 18-15, and tell you what a way to turn around a game.
Absolutely, yeah. From being 11-4 down, they take it all the way to OT. And then once they're in OT, they just put their foot on the gas. They go up a gear and they just absolutely demolish. Tricked now on their attack. They can't be counted out just yet. Yeah, remember how powerful these guys were when they were attacking? I think there's definitely a chance that they can take all 3 in a row here. But it's a tough ask, yeah? And that's just to take it to double OT as well. There's not even a win for them right now. Nemiga, the magic number's 19, and they're 1 away from it. Map point here on their opponent's pick. Do you reckon they can close it, Kremer?
This is a really tough position if you are this on the Nemiga side. Yo, you know that you've had an incredible C side. You know your CT side's shaky. Have you built enough momentum? Kier finding MDS is the start, you really don't want to see, considering how Joe's so low on HP already. Lollipop, you can trade, but Lucky gets the next say in the matter. Leaving it down to 3-on-4. Jo still low on HP, means that Trick definitely at an advantage here as they move on forward.
Remember, though, Jo should be dead. That was such a huge whiff early on to not eliminate him. Finally, he's going to fall. And look at this. We see so many snipers in play here. Speedak and Box have got one as well, and I think Jo had one early in the round. I don't think Tricked are going to be expecting so many AWPs, but in a 4v2 situation, as they do press forward towards B, surely they win these duels. Their flash, it has to come over the top before they peek. It does, but Box not going to be affected by it. Hits the shot, hungry for more as they creep in closer and closer. Hits the no-scope through the wall. Now a 2-on-2 situation, and as he fires through for more, he can't quite connect. Tricked, they're going to take the bomb. They're going to rotate all the way back round to this A site. They've got time to do so, but Nemiga are going to hear this. They're going to rotate themselves. This is very doable for the CT side.
If Speedak finds this kill on Zip, I fear the round could be over. 28 seconds left. Zip goes aggressive, and I think it's expected by Nemiga. The question is, can these AWPs act as scalpels, or are they going to be more like hammers? We see Zip trying to get up close and personal. It's suspected, it's predicted, but is it converted? As we see again, Speedak pushing his way forward. It's almost like he knows Zip is there. He's just praying he gets an angle on him, as Lucky will be holding for Box. And right now, Speedak, because he's such a low amount of HP, he's going to have to pray he can catch out this initial member. Slowly ebbing forward. He's going to try and tease around the corner here. Lucky good for one. Speedak now such a low amount of HP. He'll be finished off, and, well, Tricked. They make it 16.
That was incredibly close. Definitely too close for comfort. Even the spam coming through from Speedak there on the boxes, millimeters away from connecting onto Lucky. Tricked, they almost let that one slip, but for their sake, luckily, they do recover it right at the end. It's going to be 18-16. 2 more chances to close here for Nemiga, and 2 consecutive rounds required for Tricked to actually tip this one into a second OT. Snipers come out on both sides. A triple sniper setup again here for Nemiga. What is this buy? This is so crazy.
Look at that. Look at that statistic on scoreboard as well. Box currently 8-3 up against Quez, and that's scary. Prime towards Con. He's able to catch out Speedak, and, well, Nemiga, they've still got 2 AWPs to play with. It feels like they're experimenting a little bit now. They have the cushion to match point. I don't really know how I feel about that, considering how next round they might actually have a shattered economy here as Tricks make their way forward towards A. Again, Kieran Zip leading the charge, and now Lollipop 2K is going to be in a 1v2 to try and hold the site. He spots out the first member. He can't even kill them. As he deploys that molly, he'll try and keep them back for the time being, but is it enough? There's Zip falling, but now it's down to Box to try and hold.
Oh, he hits the shot. Nemiga now with a man advantage. Tricked. They should be scared right now. This C4, it's been left behind, and MDS finds one more. Kier and Prime, the 2 members that have to keep this one alive. And what can they do here? They're both on opposite sides of the map. We see Kier actually getting aggressive towards Long, takes some control, whiffs the shot onto Box, who while running hits the AWP flick, and it all falls onto Prime's shoulders. A 1 versus 4 clutch, 35 seconds on this clock. He only has information on one man, and he knows he needs to speed this one up, and Box is ready and waiting on the angle. 19-16, Nemiga take it. An unbelievable comeback, and one that, to be honest, Kremer, I was not expecting.
That is series ending, that sort of comeback, and it worked admirably for Nemiga. A beautiful game, and now for Tricks, they have to be terrified as they move to Nemiga's map pick of Inferno. Everybody, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break, go grab some food, go grab some water. Of course, we will be right back with the action momentarily.
balance between his computer life and normal life. So no, we didn't have any concerns other than the arguments within the family about the internet speed and the use of the Wi-Fi connection.
So my first introduction to Counter-Strike was over 12 years ago, I think now. Instead of playing football and rugby in the evening, I would just play Counter-Strike as my competitive entertainment, I guess. So it didn't really change much until I became a professional, obviously.
Alex started playing competitively and then professionally, like through a very natural progression. He started off playing with friends, and then from there it went to going to like small little LANs with friends, to sort of playing bigger tournaments.
I played a tournament with my friends, and we ended up playing against the LDLC team back then, who were number 2 on Counter-Strike Source. And that's really, I guess, one of the moments where I thought that this is like really, really cool. I obviously was watching competitions back then, but I think it was a much different experience to actually play against a top team and realize that, yeah, this is fun, this is very competitive.
We were quite proud of him, actually. I do remember packing him off with massive suitcases with his computer and monitor, putting him on the train at about age 15, I think, and he went off somewhere miles away in France to play.
And then moving into Intense, or Intense as we called it in France, I was playing with some of my very best friends to this day. But that was my first competitive team, I guess, where we actually felt like we could go on and win tournaments, at least in the French local scene.
He then progressed so that he was playing for a professional team, but with very low wages, whilst he was still at school. So when he was about 16, he was earning money.
So I was playing local tournaments in France, and I was kind of getting noticed there. And that's where I met Lambert and Mistu, who I'm now very, very good friends with. And I essentially played with them for as long as I could. And it was a much different atmosphere because they were a lot more competitive and were looking to make it as professionals. And for me, going into that environment, that I guess was the moment where, without actually thinking about it, I probably set my mind to becoming a professional as well.
When Alex first started playing competitively, I didn't think he'd be making a career out of it necessarily. There wasn't much money in it at the time. But when he started getting a bit older and he started getting paid to play for the first time, it wasn't much money. But at that point, you could sort of start to see the potential for a career out of it.
I didn't have any concerns about becoming a professional because I had been in the scene long enough and I knew the teams above us were getting paid like not that much money, but enough to live up. My parents were kind of more reserved because my mum and my brother all have done really well in university and have good jobs and good degrees, and I was never really interested in that. So I think they were more worried about the financial side of things, but they were still happy that I was doing what I wanted and chose to do.
At a very young age, he said he would be able to make a living from it. I have to say we were very sceptical, but it turns out he was correct.
The French scene is definitely unique for its personalities. There's lots of very prestigious players, I would say, very strong history in Counter-Strike, going back all the way to Counter-Strike Source.
The French scene initially had an incredibly set idea of what the paradigm of how to play Counter-Strike was having a lot of success like that for many years, then had this sort of more, I would say, fallow period where they weren't having the success, but they kept trying to make the old approach work.
They tried to keep hold of this playstyle that made them so good, which was, depending on which team, it was very one-dimensional fragging ability, I guess. But the game evolved past that, and they didn't evolve with it.
They had no good in-game leaders left in the scene. Like I said, the people who were trying to do it, Sharks, NBK, even bringing back Existence, who hadn't been at the top level for years and years, it kind of showed that they were out of ideas. And so I think in that moment, that's what made them receptive to a newer guy.
I definitely felt like I had a lot to prove in the first year, at least, going into LDLC, because I was kind of the pickup that not that many people expected or wanted, I guess.
So when he was sort of coming through the ranks, he was playing under some big leaders, like Existence and stuff. So at that point, he wasn't really taking a leadership role, but I think that we always knew the qualities were there and the hard work was there to fulfill that role.
Becoming in-game leader was definitely a necessity. I'd been in and around the French scene for a few years, and they weren't changing players. They were just recycling the top players in the scene. I think LDLC backing me over Existence was more of a seal of approval of what I was doing than anything else. It was definitely a feeling of going in the right path and I'm going in the right direction, because if I wasn't, then they wouldn't have backed me over him.
XMS with the bait and switch, and it's going to be the ace from Alex on the back of the boost, so very well called from LDLC.
I was coming to the end of my contract at the end of 2018, going into 2019. I didn't know if I wanted to sign with LDLC again. They obviously wanted to keep me. So I was talking with the coach of Vitality, and I told him that I was coming to the end of my contract, and if they were interested, I just put my name forward in that sense. And they decided at that point that it was a good opportunity for them to get rid of Happy and bring me in.
They had this guy, Zero, monster young talent with all these veteran players around him, but something was still off in the lineup, and what they essentially did was kick out one of the other, formerly very great in-game leader who won 2 majors, Happy, bring in Alex.
My time on Vitality was kind of a roller coaster, I guess, because it started off very, very low. But I think we always had the belief that when we were further down in the rankings that we were a lot better than where we were ranked. So once we transitioned into me becoming in-game leader, not that I had all the merit or the credit for that, we kind of took off and got up to number 2 in the world and won 3 tournaments, I think it was.
His first real crack at Tier 1 to be an in-game leader, he was able to make this very unusual fusion of players, and as essentially almost a rookie himself, go all the way to the top.
I decided to leave in February after Katowice because I think that was the worst I'd felt in maybe my entire life. I just didn't, at that point when I was going to the airport to go to Katowice, I got to the airport and I asked myself what I'm doing, why am I here? Because I don't want to be here. I don't feel like being here. I was just too tired and too much travel, and I was burnt out, and I'd told Vitality the year before, from I think it was July, I think was the first time I said that, look, we need to do something about the calendar because I won't be able to do it again in 2020. I took the first 3 months of just recovering from all the competition, and I didn't really do anything. I was just sat, because we were in lockdown, I just sat here and just tried to relax as much as I could. I think the most important answer I had to find was to the question that I asked myself when I got to the airport was, do I really still want to be doing this job? And once I had answered that, I then had to find a team that was willing to work with me on problems that I'd had in the past, and yeah, Cloud9 kind of answered those questions for me.
I think it's absolutely exciting for CSGO fans that Alex is joining Cloud9. It's been a while since we've had an assertive leader within the organization, someone that can take the bull by the horns and lead the boys to a victory.
Alex could have an enormous amount of impact on a lineup like Cloud9. Like, I would definitely build this as like, now you can actually be a Cloud9 fan again, basically.
In-game leaders, their stock couldn't be higher in CSGO right now. Every org is looking for an in-game leader because, quite frankly, most of them suck, and it's a very difficult role.
The most important thing of a leader in Counter-Strike is just someone to look at and just be like, yeah, we're going to do this and it's going to work. Maybe it's completely the wrong tactic, but if you believe enough in it and you do it well, then it can always work. And that, for me, is the biggest thing and the most important thing of having a leader.
If you go and look at the case of Ben Tech coming from Indonesia, there's basically no reason actually as to why a player would make it from there. The fact that he basically even got to become someone that Westerners would know and want to recruit, I think it's one of the most unlikely stories probably in Counter-Strike history.
My name is Hansel, my nickname is Bentet, and I play for Genji Sports. I'm from Jakarta, Indonesia. When you play CSGO at Indonesia, there is not much team. Yeah.
First of all, he comes from a region that has absolutely no tenure, no legacy in Counter-Strike the franchise, even the old versions. There was never any team from Indonesia that accomplished anything. There was never any player that accomplished anything. And yet his route to getting the success that he's had was basically like doing it the hard way.
I start joining Indonesian team, which is pretty small back then, but it's something. Yeah, I would say I was a competitive person. I like to not give up. If I see someone is better than me, I need to practice more to become better than him.
Oh, 1 HP. No way, Bentet. How are you alive? He's now going to look for this frag. He's got this ace blocked down.
Hello, 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 and welcome back as we see Tricked attempts to redraw blood as Enigma upset them on Overpass with a monumental comeback to come ahead, take it in overtime, and find themselves with the first map. We now move to Nemiga's home ground of Inferno with Tricked facing all to play for.
Well, Nemiga starting off on this T side now. Of course, they've managed to snatch away Trick's map pick, but Prime's managed to snatch away the first head in the pistol. Lollipop losing his life, but Trick, they've taken so much map control here that they're actually going to be able to wrap all the way around to this B side. But are they going to expect that there's 3 defenders ready and waiting?
It's going to be a tough old ask. As Lucky is good for the first. Zip tries to catch out the first, able to get the second. That was Lucky's the one to continue tapping down from New Box. Elsewhere, we see Joya make his way forward from Banana. Zip there to find the last, all on Joya, alone in a 1v4. Tries to pressure down Kier, can't quite do so. Tricked with the first now. Oh, it's Tricked v Tricked, apparently. Tricked with the first as they shut down. Oh, it's Nemiga with the first. As they shut down Tricked. Is that Nemiga on the CT
wrong way around.
Though,
there we go. It's fixed now.
There we
Confusion
go.
over.
that was very confusing. But we see Nemiga, they falter in the pistol round. We see Tricked come ahead, and with a 1-0 lead now, they're going to try and just maintain that and force Nemiga back just to get a bit of an early advantage.
Well, just with the pistols to work with here, Nemiga, they're going to rack up towards the apartments early, see if they can do some damage. This for Mass. It's being entertained by the Tech 9 of Box, who's just making noise. The nade stack, it's perfect, but it's a little bit too late. And Nemiga, they've taken this apartment's control. Tricked, they've got 3 players on this A site. But as Prime starts to rotate back a little bit, these Tech 9s, they could be deadly. Instead, they're not committing to anything just yet. They're actually going to re-aggress towards Banana.
So the side makes their way forward, Nemiga faking a bit of presence there, and they haven't quite drawn the rotation of Prime. It looks like Prime is considering it, but he doesn't go just yet. Instead, Nemiga, as they make their way forward, look to hold firm, and they try to force Tricked back here. Quaid's the man on the close angle towards balcony, looking to catch out an initial member. If he can do so, let's see if he can, with Lucky there to support him. Bit of damage done, though. Lollipop comes out on top. Spray down from Lucky, can't find anything as Lollipop doubles up there, with Lucky trying to continue his presence. Joyo's there to finish the job, but it down to 4-on-2, leaving Kier and Zip in a very tough position where they just have to go save.
Well, that's just Inferno for you, Kremer. Every single time they lose a site,
I know I'm going to hear this.
They go and save, strap yourselves in for 45 seconds of random blabber because Kier and Zip, they're not even going for exits at this point, just falling away, trying to hold on to these 2 weapons that they have. And Nemiga, this is a really, really fantastic response. They've actually come into this one with the Tech 9s, and we just know how deadly they are. Once they take that early control, now I do think it's right that Tricked played this passive setup and didn't try and take these aggressive picks, but once they allow those Tech 9s to get close and get that top brackets and apartments control, they are deadly. Kier does snatch away 1, but he won't get any more than that, as Nemiga are sitting right in pit, staying alive to this bomb, and they know exactly how much damage it does. Jo cutting it down to the wire, but Nemiga, they take their round back.
So that's a silver lining for Nemiga there. And for Tricked, the Butcher's build does come through, and the fact they've lost 3 members on their force spike means that reforcing now against Nemiga is going to be a hard ask. They can just do it if we see dropped Deagles and the odd pistol here or there. There's going to be limited utility, but definitely enough to fight Nemiga, who right now are going to be hard-pressed to find a second. Luckily, though, because they have been able to bring out some rifles, they will have a firepower advantage. But Tricked with this defender's advantage is going to try and negate that.
Well, we've seen these Deagles deadly in the past on this very map yesterday. Not yesterday, a couple of days ago when we saw Tricked play last. Prime was pulling off some incredible shots with it. And Tricked, they've got a nice configuration here towards A. The boost over the smoke, it now dissipates. And as Nemiga starts to press onto this A, site has been given up, but Quez can reaggress. He hears the man behind him too, can spin around, fire off a few shots, but it's back into a 4-on-4. Quez finds another. And this round, it's so messy, but Tricked, they've kept the numbers even.
It really should have been that close as MDS finds Prime. Zips there to respond, putting it down to a 2-on-2 as MDS turns attention around. He's got Joe there to help him. Joe, who heal the player towards long, tagging Zip down so low on HP. Hasn't quite killed him though, but Zip, he needs to realize that for all intents and purposes, a save is definitely on the cards. He's the only man with a kit of only 15 HP. If he dies on long, there's no way that Kier's going to be able to retrieve that. Kier, the man with HP, the man with the superior rifle, and he's going to walk into a crossfire right now. Nemiga in a really strong position now, are going to be able to engage this side almost instantaneously. It's MDS onto the first, all on Zip now. He's finished off, and while Nemiga take a lot of casualties doing so, it doesn't matter. The fact they've reset Trick now mean that they can try and build a bit of an economy now as they lead 2-1.
It's a very, very good start indeed here from Nemiga, especially off the back of winning that pistol. And what was that? Did we just see Tricks go for another force there? Just before we saw this replay come through, they've actually gone for another force buy. Now, this could work wonders, especially considering how much damage they've done here. I think they're quite confident in their ability to maybe do so again. But this is really damaging the economy. They're not going to be able to buy up in the next. Instead, they'll be allowing Nemiga potentially onto 4 rounds here before they can actually pull out an investment.
I don't really know how I feel about this, to be honest. We see early aggression towards Banana, with Box able to find the first Zip to get the next center man before Joyous and Nade finishes the job. And now with it going 4-on-3, this leaves Tricked into a really tough position where, yes, they've got a nice setup to mid, but I think Nemiga aren't really focused on mid right now. We see smokes go down towards B, and it looks like your favorite thing's about to happen, Josh. That's going to be a 3-man save without a hunt from Nemiga, who right now are just going to savor the fact that they've got 4 players left alive, a site to work with, and 4 players who are going to build an economy now.
Well, the C4, the digits will be tapped in, and there we go, yeah. B-bomb site, it's opened up, and there's nothing Tricked can do about it. Nemiga, they have to get this bomb down. They have to try and keep some players alive here as well. Their economy, it's not too great, but Tricked with this save. To be honest, okay, it does mean that they can carry these Deagles into the next and maybe do some damage with them there, but we're not going to see Kira and Zip buying anything next round. And at the end of the day, this next round should be a buy-up from Tricked. And with the force that we saw here, it's not going to be. So Nemiga, they'll be on to 3, and they'll have a really, really good shot at 4. And that's just the start they're looking for. And their map pick, bearing in mind if they can take this, they take the series.
If you see this bomb go off as well, Tricked, they move down to what'll be... They've got a eco after this, surely. There's no way they force up again. And Zip, he brought armor there and my heart stopped. We see them again. This time it's not a forced buy, it's not an eco. It's one of those shaky buys where they kind of hover around 2k. They don't commit to anything too substantial. And it feels like this is all a bit too late, you know. We're currently 5 rounds in and we haven't seen a full buy from Tricks. And we won't see one until round 6, at which point Nemiga will already be 4-1 up to the point where if Tricks do win it, it won't matter because Nemiga will just force up and challenge it again. You see Zip forced to try and be aggressive towards Banana. Not quite got a flash to assist him for the time being. Then he flashes and has a Quez who's over towards Archway. Zip taking so much util damage, finished off by Joyo. His teammate nowhere near him to help, and Nemiga going to find themselves another swift bomb site.
Yeah, with Kier only on the USP, he surely drops here. And with Nemiga not taking a single casualty on these initial engagements, there we go. Box takes down Kier. That's a free B bomb site. It looks like Tricked are going to fall away from this one. They might reaggress. I think they'll definitely go for this retake, surely. But if Nemiga can keep all 5 players alive in this scenario, then that's fantastic. As you said before, they're going to go into this next round with absolutely tons of cash. Here's the save call from Tricked. Despite the fact they're going to be on a full buy in the next, they want to save on to this Kevlar and helmet, these Deagles and the util that they've got as well. But yeah, means that Nemiga, they're on to a 4-1 start, and they will have so much cash in the bank. They're going to have $3,400 on top of all the money that they have right now. Plus, they don't need to reinvest any rifles or anything like that. We will see some util expended, but that'll be about it. So that every single man will have $6,000 roundabout, and Tricked, even if they win the next buy-up, they'll have to face up against another, and it's just a really rough position to be in early on.
This sort of economy from Nemiga as well, you don't really see it till about round 10 when you have that level of stability. Right now, Nemiga seems so strong. And the fact that they've been able to go forward up on the T side of Overpass as well really leaves Trix at a tough old spot. And, we take a look at the we take a look at the statistic that comes out as well. 3 out of 3 full buy versus fourth buy rounds. And the reality is that doesn't kind of show the extent of it. These have been wins that have been very convincing. And for Trix, as they move to their first full buy, they need to have a level of success that gives them a chance to save some weapons and build an economy, because right now this game, they just haven't had one.
Well, these nades, don't quite connect there into Banana. They fall a little bit short. But I like the fact that Trix aren't actually contesting this top Banana control. Now that they've got the guns in hand, don't go for anything as foolish. Instead, they play this deeper setup. They deploy the nades from an arm's length, and they maintain the control that way. Nice incendiary to slow Nemiga down just that little bit more. And as that smoke comes through, we do actually see Lucky start to rotate. That sniper now can post on the angle and try and do some damage on the cross. The issue is that his position will almost certainly be smoked on the execute. And Nemiga, they're just looking to take these two gunfights, isolate the players on the site, and do what they've been doing so well so far.
The smokes go down. Box is going to lead this charge towards this side. Spams down one. Kid's get the next set. The man. Kid trying to double up. Does just that. Turning his attention to towards Joe. Trying to triple up. He does just that. Now on for 4. Lucky's the man to find the kill. Leave it all on Lollipop now in a 1v4. He's already suspected by Quez. And we said that Trick needed a convincing buy round. That is just it. It leaves Nemiga in a really tough spot where Tricks have had an ironclad defense, which means that Nemiga have no choice but to either try to go to A or hold a defo and try something else, because the reality is, I think B has just been labeled off limits.
That was a really solid hold indeed, and it all falls onto the shoulders of Kier there. 3 kills, 3 1-for-1 engagements taken, and he comes out on top in every single one of them. Zip, he was just about able to deploy a flash before he died, and that's what was the catalyst to get Kier going. He traded out the first, the second man was fully blinded, and Tricked, they have a fantastic round. That's absolutely the bounce back they needed. Nemiga, especially with Lollipop staying alive, they've got more than enough money to reinvest into this one, and actually might have enough cash to go for another buy in the next 2. In fact, they absolutely will. So Tricked, they've still got their work cut out for them, but it's a brilliant start.
For Tricked, I think that if this round is just as pivotal as the last, the fact they've been able to get one kind of round buff of economy through means that they can go for full utility. It means they can get kits on a lot of their members. It means they can get head armor on a lot of their members. They're still not out of the woods, at least economically. Nemiga, they go for early banana control. They force Kira away. It's actually Speedak to find Lucky towards mid, which was again put Strict at a disadvantage. And yes, that first buy round was amazing. You need to have consistency. Kier good for another. Now as that equals out the man count. And Joyo, that flash actually perfect by Zip means he can't get too aggressive as it holds him at arm's length for the time being.
Well, a 4v4, a lot of damage dealt here, mainly onto Kier and Prime, though. They're the ones that need to be wary. And Kier, incredibly low on health, gets up onto the boxes towards second oranges. He's got this support from Zip, who, playing in the coffins, deploys a smoke, gives him some legroom to work with. Actually gives him a fantastic one-way, but Kier gets eliminated by the Molotov. Zip needs to find a multi-kill here, and instead it's only damage. Headshot found onto Jo, but it's not enough. Man disadvantage here for Tricked as they come in for the retake. And Nemiga, they take all the post plants. They have the cover of the smoke that allows them to do so. Now the retake coming through, and Prime's good for the first.
2-on-2 now. Speedak able to leg down Prime there in punishment as Nemiga again set up, ready to hold. But Speedak, though, needs to be careful as Quez looks like it's easier peek towards Ruins. Gets out, gets towards Coffins, and now Speedak needs to be very careful. He's good for Prime. He knows the second player's there. Quez gives his position away, trying to pressure down Speedak. He's in a 1v2. He's not got much time. Legged on down. Any second now will be finished. That he is. Speedak with a no-scope to the groin of Quez, providing Nemiga a 5th as we find ourselves in the realms of a timeout.
It's actually a tactical timeout as well. We've seen a few of these so far this game, but they all seem to be quite swiftly resolved, so don't go anywhere, folks, because it gives us an opportunity to talk about our partners over at Pinnacle. Of course, if you want to place a bet on this match or any others in the Pinnacle Cup, make sure you head over there. They have a special link, pinnacle.com/Pinnacle Cup, to check out that one. They've also got loads of cool things going on, skin giveaways that you can check out. If you go to pinnacle.com/raffle, you sign up using code CUP21. There's some cool raffles you can enter. And And if you want to get involved with any of the content that's going out here for the Pinnacle Cup, of course, at Pinnacle Esports on Twitter is where they're posting all of these match updates and all of that fun stuff, statistics to go with it. So make sure you check that one out. Sounds like this pause is going to be a little bit lengthier than the last. So we're going to cut to a very short break, but don't go too far, folks, because we'll be back very, very soon.
Team NXL, which at the first Asia Minor went 0-3 immediately. They lost every map that they played. Yet, despite that, Bentet had the highest rating in the entire tournament, so he was absolutely going to turn some heads, and Tyloo acquired him within a year after that.
Tyloo is one of the best team in Asia to play CSGO, and Tyloo asked me at a very good moment. I'm not scared, I think. I just take the risk, take the challenge without thinking any longer. I said yes, and then I joined Tyloo.
Still alive by the sandbags, he's got no help into the point. Benton, what the hell is this? Is he going to get the ace? He's so close. Saudi's still alive. Rock's running out, but it's Benton. What are you doing?
Which means he gets it down to a one-on-one. He can still swing out on Voxic. That's very well done from Bentet. He's still going in. That's a beautiful flashbang coming. Oh my goodness! God. Bentet, you can't do that. That is disgusting.
Ooh, good opening kill from Bentet. Oh, he's going to spray through as well. And 2 flash assists from Summer. Oh, and the spin as well. A 3rd kill. And Bentet is just wrecking G2 in this map. He's going to add a 4th onto it. What an absolute monster.
Bentet, he's starting to get the timing right. 1 down. Surely not again. He's done it. So close so many times, but this time he gets the cigar and Bentet doesn't even blink.
Yeah, I think back then we dominate the Asia scene with Tyloo.
I mean, the first time I heard of Bentet was probably when I wasn't even involved in Team CS. It was probably just me watching one of the majors or one of the tournaments which Tyloo would regularly qualify for, and I think it was just as a fan probably the first time I heard of it.
Bentet was a better player than the level that Tyloo was able to actually compete at internationally. The fact that coming from his region, he is essentially a diamond in the rough, isn't he? He's a guy who's just over in the scene where he's never going to make it if he's stuck over there, most likely, because just not enough other factors that can help you. But he could be a great pickup potentially for a Western team.
Tyloo knew that playing internationally is my goal, like playing in an A. And I tell them that I really want to join Gen.G to compete at North America, and they support me. Now I'm at North America with Gen.G, which is I'm very grateful for this opportunity because I really want to compete at North America to play CSGO player.
Yeah, to have a player come from Asia before, and both of them didn't go very well. So I think we've been very happy with how it's kind of come across. I think way better than what's happened before.
I like living here at America, and I'm just so happy to live and compete here.
It's the moment you've all been waiting for, the grand finals here of DreamHack Anaheim 2020.
Bentet had this crossfire with koosta. Damage done on the Deeg. Bentet looking for a bit more, and there's a 3rd for him. Still alive, and the bomb at his feet. Bentet could do it all.
He's got one, the bomb tapped. They have to stick it. Dax has won the round, and surely this is done. It is 19-15. Gen.G go flawless in overtime, and they are your DreamHack Open Anaheim champions.
With Gen.G we compete at DreamHack Anaheim, we managed to get first place. I think it's really great for us.
And they win it. They win it, right? Their first event. That is a strong honeymoon period. And you're supposed to be able to ride that sort of momentum moving forward for the rest of the year. So it's so unfortunate that it got stopped short, so short, before they could ride it out.
Pretty much straight after that, I think we played one match of Flashpoint, and then everything just got shut down.
The pandemic is not that much at Indonesia. Yeah, it's worse at the United States than Jakarta. It sucks, I think. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, my parents is kind of worried about me, but they trust me. They just said, wearing mask, please wear mask every day and don't go outside. And I tell them, yeah, don't worry about it. I didn't go anywhere and I just follow the protocols. I don't know, I just worried to get the virus and can't compete again and can't play CS again while I'm still recovering the virus, I think. I'm just not thinking about it, about the pandemic, because I think like the pandemic will be over maybe soon or later. So I just trying to having fun with my coach every day because I live with him.
It definitely could have gone poorly, being locked in the house with the wrong person. He's taken a big leap to come over here to America as a height. I mean, it's not easy to be away from home all of this time, so I think it's been really good for me to stay with him, and I'm glad he's appreciative. I know he's appreciative, so it's been really good from that point of view to have someone as nice as him to be stuck in a house with for all this time.
We cook together at apartment, and sometimes we take a walk together to get some fresh air. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool to live with him.
We try and obviously do some stuff together, like sometimes we'll make dinner together, or cute little things like that, and just try and just keep each other sane, because it's obviously a little bit lonely sometimes just being stuck in your rooms. Our cooking together is not a wide spread of things. Fried rice, pasta. He does cook an Indonesian dish. I'm unfortunately not very good at handling spice, so I did try it and it was just a little bit too much for me. I start sweating like an idiot when I eat too much spicy foods.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good guy. I like to live with him.
And now it's just been the two of us for 6 months, and as you said, we've been basically locked in the house together. We head across to the office every now and then, but yeah, we've just been locked together. We have our own little schedules, and yeah, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good, of course. I have friends instead of being alone here. I have friends at my apartment. Yeah, I think it's good.
I couldn't ask for a better roommate and someone to live with and be stuck here in America with, so it's been good from that point of view. He is a unique talent. I think mechanically he's very, very high up there. So it was worth the risk of going to Indonesia and picking him up and giving him a go. He is that talented that it's worth the risk.
I started to join American team, which is one of my dreams. And at age 25, I don't think it's pretty bad to compete at United States, to start competing here as a career. And I think this team has potential moving forward.
Hello, and welcome back as Nemiga attempts to come ahead and take the series 2-0. When we left off before the server change, Tricks, off the back of some hasty economic decisions, meant that Nemiga were able to establish a bit of a lead and a hell of an economy to back it up. Tricks, having won a buy round, have now been reset by Nemiga, who look to force up and try to keep their kind of equity in this half. Nemiga, having winning this round, would mean that they can go ahead and try to challenge Tricks in what will be a very one-sided half. With Joy finding an initial pick onto Kier, it's going to be all the momentum going forward for Nemiga. Of course, I'm Mikasa Kramer 3. I'm joined by the wonderful MJ Casts as we attempt to go through this.
Well, the man advantage taken here for Nemiga once again, and as they continue to press for this B site, there are 3 defenders posted, and Zip looking to re-aggress. The flashbang, it's perfect, but he's only got a UMP, able to fire away for the first, and as the secondary flash comes through, Lucky's going to swing with that AWP. Lollipop walks right into it, and Lucky is not going to give an opportunity for a secondary trade. Somehow, Tricked have turned a man disadvantage into a man advantage. It's quickly stripped away from them as Zip overstays his welcome. It comes back into a 3-on-3, and at this point, I think Nemiga might be baited into a bit of a false sense of security. After finding 2 kills towards B, they're surely expecting either this B site to have 1 defender left or the CTs to be rotating in, and that's not the case at all. There are 2 on the site, the AWP at the back of it, and Prime ready to support.
As they make their way forward, it's Joy find the initial kill onto Prime, again leaving it into a 3-on-2. Now 2-on-2 before Joy is able to find Lucky. The late flank from Quez with these players on low HP definitely gives them an advantage, but he's walking into an AWP, and that may play heavily to his detriment. He's bear in mind, Tricked right now have no money whatsoever. Their economy is in tatters, their hopes in ruins, and their momentum shattered. As we see Quez try to go for the high ground, Joy, a beautiful shot by him to provide Nemiga with a 6th. As they force Tricked into what will be yet another pistol buy, in which Nemiga proved that they really do have the reins and they really are dictating the tempo of this game.
Joyo with a 4K that last round as well. We saw Speedak fall early. Joyo picked up that AWP and took it by the reins, found 4 frags, really had a huge impact, especially considering he's not that primary sniper. As we go into round number 9, then Nemiga, they've got a 4-round lead and they look to make it 5. Tricked, they've got very little to work with. We see 3 Deagles come out, accompanied by some Kevlar. Lucky and Quez not holding on to anything, and Lollipop right through the wall. That is the first time I've seen that spam come through in quite a long time.
Tricked with these pistols are going to try and hold on for the time being, but you know, with these deals, with these kind of limited bits of util, the best thing they can hope for is maybe the odd pick, if they're lucky, maybe able to save the odd pistol, maybe the odd, maybe even an AWP if they're lucky, but the reality is, Nemiga, who are about to establish a 7-2 lead unless something horrific goes wrong here, are going to be in such a strong position that Tricked are really going to have to get their A-game on, or they're going to be in a hell of a lot of trouble. Good for 1 Zip, good for a second, and as I mentioned, something that could go really damn wrong. Looks like it might just happen. The Zip on very low HP, hides towards first oranges. There's a flank coming as well, so right now all he has to do is try and survive. He's able to damage up a player before he does so. Speedy able to double up as well, though. Leave it all on Quez, picks up an AWP. Box will finish the job. Nemiga, lady 7-2, and for Tricked, at least they can move to a bye now, but Josh, I feel like their economic decisions just haven't been working out for them.
They absolutely haven't been. It's unfortunate in that final scenario as well. Quez of the 3 members peeks into the one that's full health and hits him low as well. We see 2 AWPs come out here for Tricked. It's going to be Lucky and Zip to wield them. I assume Zip goes towards this B site as he has been, and the other goes elsewhere, and that's absolutely the case. Zip's going to go towards B. I'm interested to see if he goes for an early banana pick or whether he actually just plays deeper on the site. Looks like it's going to be the former, but Lucky, getting aggressive himself towards the top of middle, gets his head ripped clean off. Zip thinks he can hit the shot, but no, he falls to the same fate, and what a start here from Nemiga.
Joyo as well, he continues to aggress behind the other side of that smoke there as Kier's taken down. It leaves Prime and Quez alone in a 2-on-5. Lollipop, yes, he'll lose his life, but I don't think it matters at that point. Nemiga, they've established such an economy where dying means nothing. They shrug it off like it's a mere hindrance rather than a kind of dead stop. Tricked with these last 2 members, they definitely need to hold on to these guns, otherwise they may be in such a tough position moving forward. Quez with an AK, Prime with an AWP, neither really under threat for now, as Nemiga, they establish an 8th, securing a victory in this first half. For now, they're going to be fighting for what extent, as Quez, he teases a peek from short, not quite spotted out by Speedak just yet though, as Tricked now, yes, they save their guns, but I don't think it's enough, Josh.
Oh, it's going to be 8 here for Nemiga and Quez. I think he's just been spotted if he goes for another peek here. If he shows too much, Speedak's going to take him out. And actually, with his position known, he might even fall to MDS. The timing just about saves him. That clock, it saves his life for today. But 8-2, a fantastic start here from Nemiga. And Tricked are really struggling. We see that sea of orange at the top there. pretty much 8 rounds in a row, just broken by one little hiccup in the middle. And because Nemiga have been able to build up their economy oh so much, even when Tricked are able to bounce back like that, Nemiga just come in again with a buy. Lucky goes for the peek towards middle once again. Last time he went for this, it didn't work out for him at all. This time, it's a little bit more successful. Hits the shot onto Lollipop. No one's there to trade, and he can fall away with a man advantage and a big smile on his face.
It feels like for Tricked as well, they're being very, very aggressive, and they fight very damn hard for a man advantage. We actually see a continuation of k's' push all the way into second apps. That shot from Joyo was something to fear. As Tricked now, they continue to make their way forward in an attempt to try and refute this attack. But Joyo, he's hungry and he's scary. He knows that Prime is going to be ready to try and fight him, as will Zip. And as k's makes his way forward, all the way down into T ramp now on a massive flank towards box. The question is, though, will Nemiga spot it out? They're ready for a flank, but are they ready from a flank of, well, towards T ramp? Right now, Lucky's able to shut down MDS, which means that Nemiga's own flank has been cancelled out, and in a 3-on-4, they've got no choice but to move forward. Prime, his aggression towards Coffins is going to be pivotal to the success of the round. As Zip, he's good for one. Now he just needs to hide. Flash goes out, swing goes wide. It's beautiful kills either way, though. Box now left alone in a 1v2. He tries to make it his way across. Lucky ready for him. Low on HP, though. Box not ready for the banana player, and this should be a very swift round. Tricked with 3 now. Find themselves stringing together a little bit of momentum now as Nemiga rebuy and attempt to keep it at just 1 round.
Tricked going for a little pattern here in the score war. We see 1 blue, 4 oranges, 1 blue, 4 oranges, another blue. Do we see another 4 oranges? Of course, Nemiga, they've got more than enough money to go for another full investment into this one, try and bounce it back. That was an incredibly close round in the last. As we go into the final rounds of this first half, can Tricked close up this scoreline, or do we see Nemiga continue to bully Tricked and take it to double digits early?
Flashes go on out, and as they hold firm, is he Tricked again? Just attempt to hold on for the time being. It's a tough ask as Lucky. He spots out Speedak, legs him down, doesn't quite kill him, but that'll keep him from being too kind of ambitious for the time being. Lollipop, his aggression towards Bananas, perfect as Kiri's a nade for his woes as well. Elsewhere, Prime able to trade, and now Kier tries his hand at aggression. Pushing on forward, Flash goes out as a double swing wide as Banana controls established. And Trace, they don't really continue this momentum. Instead, Nemiga forced on back, turn their attention down towards the top of mid. And as they make their way forward, they've got both Prime and Lucky to worry about, and for good reason. They've had incredible games so far, at least in the 3 rounds that have been won by Tricked, and they've called for a rotation. It'll be a 4-on-4 fight for the sites, and for now, Tricked have definitely got all the cards in their advantage.
Well, they spot the man in mini pit, but there's a beautiful crossfire in place here, and Zip, he can fire away for 3. The MP9 somehow does so much damage, and Speedak, whilst he finds one back, actually connects onto a second. Now a 2 versus 1, very doable, but with such low health, that smoke grenade dissipating makes this job 10 times harder. Peeks into the angle, hits it, still has the cover of the box, knows that the last man is in graveyard and hits the shot. What an unbelievable round from Speedak. He's clutched up a 1-on-4 with 15 points of health. How have Tricked let that slip?
My God, that was a good clutch. And with 4 quick kills there, he's able to bring a perfect round for Nemiga. Tricks, they take a timeout, understandably so, because how the hell do you recover from that?
That is unreal. I mean, I honestly... You can fault Tricked a little bit there because they shouldn't be allowing Speedak to get away with that. But at the same time, Speedak's just read them like a book. He knows all of their positions and he just peeks into it one by one, making sure that he has all of the cover in every single angle he takes. And there you go. Speedak is 5-0 in duels against Zip. Zip is getting absolutely dominated by him, despite the fact that he's leading the fragging on not only his team, but equaling the highest fragger on the server.
My God, Josh, that was a round by Nemiga. And right now, 9 rounds on the T side. They've done all they needed to do. You know, anything more is bonus. And the fact is, we might be seeing a horrifically one-sided half. You know, 11-4, even 12-3 isn't out of the question at this point. As Tricked with these pistols are going to try and just find some silver lining somewhere. But the reality is, it looks pretty grim for them right now.
Well, flashes go over the top. Nemiga looking for 10 right now as they face just up against the pistols. Lollipop going to spot that aggression towards second middle, and I don't think Lucky can stick around for all too much. He hasn't got any Kevlar to work with. Remember, he's trying to save some cash for the AWP later. And Tricked, well, they start to group up. They anticipate this is going to be a B hit, and they have guessed incorrect. Nemiga very much leaning towards this A side of things. I think sooner or later they're going to realize that they've got a free and empty bomb site, and this should be a 10th for them.
So it goes down towards top mid, and I tell you what, Nemiga, they're split 50-50 now. It looks like they are going to congregate towards A, and for a moment that looks bloody scary. But luckily, as they turn their attention towards the A site, Tricked again with a really nice stack towards B. Unfortunately, it's just the stack in the wrong site. With these pistols, they may have to hunt for a few exits here or there. The reality is it'll be a tough old ask, as for now, Nemiga on this execution are going to expend a fair bit of utilities to get onto the site. Luckily, though, Trick still haven't flinched, expecting it to be a fake or double fake at that. As with 25 seconds left, Nemiga secure what will be their 10th round.
And a Trick's just going to save here? I mean, they've got some Kevlar. I suppose Zip's got that helmet as well, so it means that they don't have to buy as much going into the next round. At this point, considering that they've been able to do so much damage, especially with finding 4 kills in the last, I'd actually like to see them try and get some exit frags and do some damage here, because look at that Nemiga economy. Despite the fact that they've won so many rounds in a row, they lost the one 2 rounds ago, and then they lost 4 men in the round prior, so they really don't have a whole lot of cash to work with. So if Trick can do some damage, it will certainly be impactful. And that is actually the game plan right now. They realize it, and they are going to creep in. The round not in contention, certainly without any kits, but they hope to try and catch out the players as they rotate into pit.
Box will spot out the initial member, and that should warn Nemiga that actually Trick's going to fight them here. Lucky, that's a nice opening. Joyo is able to respond, though. Zip on the flank, now caught out by MDS. It's a nice little cleanup by Nemiga. Only 1 player falling. That is a trade I think they'll take any day of the week. So it's a highlight now is that, as you mentioned, their economy really isn't in a good place. And the fact they expend so much utility on rounds like that, even against an eco, it means that they're being very careful, but it means that their economy is on a knife's edge right now. And if Trick can find this round convincingly, then it will only be a hop, skip, and a jump before Nemiga have to go down to an eco themselves. Luckily, with only 2 rounds left of the half, that may not be the case. But Trick, I don't think they realized how close they were to kind of resetting Nemiga here.
Oh, that is lightning fast there from Speedak. There's a reason that that's his name. And as he finds that opening pick, Zip in the meantime tagged up. So much preliminary damage dealt here from Nemiga. As they press forward, they're looking to take some engagements here towards the top of middle. Zip is actually re-aggressed onto Banana, and with that deep smoke, he gets himself into logs, and he's taken some nice control here. But Nemiga, all the cards in their hand as they look to finish this one and take it 11, maybe even 12.
It's just perfect utilization of their economy and with their utility. As we see Speedak, he's able to find an initial member. Kier now alone towards B, completely blinded through the smoke. He can't even find a kill. Yes, he tags down Box. What good does it matter? Kier falls, Lollipop ready for the flanker. Quez leaves it all on Lucky, alone in a 1v5. And, you know, we saw some good rounds by Speedak. How can Lucky look to match it? Through the smoke, he's tagged on down. Looks like Joy's going to try and go to the other side of this. He's caught out by Lucky. That's an opening for Lucky, but it may be just that, an opening. We see Drake, they have no money as well. Right now, Lucky saving would be a really good call, but because of that initial kill, it means that Tricked, their location's known, and Nemiga looks to punish it with ruthless prejudice.
If Lucky can't save this AWP, it's going to be very costly indeed. And Nemiga, they've wrapped all the way around the map. They know that he has to be here. And MDS, oh no, don't do it to him. The knife kill. Oh, it's so much PM. He's not even going for it. There we go. Finishes him off. And Lucky, oh, that has got to be tilting. Very, very tilting indeed. They haven't even got any money to go for a full investment here going into the 15th. We'll see Kier jump straight into that M4. But everybody else, it's going to have to be the FAMASs or the SMGs. And there we go. 3 MP9s and a FAMAS on Prime. Yikes. That is not a great buy to be trying to take 4. And if they can't do so, Nemiga, they take a 12-3 half.
Silver lining is that they do have a little bit of... They do have a few nades, they do have a few smokes. They have flash as well to help out. Fortunately, though, the utility doesn't help when you have MDS hitting shots like that. Sure, good for one. Box and Lollipop find kills of their own. And it's like you snap your fingers, you blink twice, and Trick have lost all their players. It's down to Zip now in a 1v4. again, it feels like Trick need almost a Herculean comeback to even consider being in contention with Nemiga right now. As Zip, he makes his way forward. He'll peek out towards balcony. He doesn't quite see anyone, but he's on the wrong side of the map in the final half with no kits, no armor, no true armor, not much HP, and well, with a Lollipop finding him, no hope. Nemiga, they finish the half 12-3 up, Josh, and I think we may have a very quick map on our hands here.
Kremer, man, stop snapping your fingers and blinking twice. I like Tricked, and this is just ruthless. This is
painful, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's actually quite hard to see, especially considering they had so much control on Overpass. They really should have been closing out that first map, and they should be kind of holding their heads high, looking forward to going on to that third and final of Mirage, which they would have had a really good chance in taking. But unfortunately, they just let it slip in the opening map of this series. And now on Inferno, I just don't see any hope for this comeback. They do call a timeout before the pistol comes through. I like the initiative in that round number 15 as well, to say, do you know what? We've got a super polarized buy here. We've got 3 MP9s. We need to go for something a little bit funky. We need to get aggressive here. And unfortunately for them, it just doesn't work out. You see these cameras and you see them really struggling to pull together anything. I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know what the solution is here. They need to pull off an absolute masterclass on their T side to make this one doable.
You're right. It needs to be a masterclass, and I just can't see that happening right now. Tricked, they have just been pummeled, beaten, and bruised. Nemiga, they have shown us truly why Inferno is their go-to map, and I think Tricked, they ran out of hope. This is moving to a pistol round. They've got a smoke, 2 flashes to ease their passing as they turn their attention towards second mid. Lollipop, I think he may have spotted a few members there. And for Nemiga, they go to this pistol round with arm around the board. They're here to take some aim duels. They're here to take some heads. And as Lucky teases some aggression towards the logs, means that Box might be in a bit of trouble here, considering he is kind of solo aggressing for the time being.
He absolutely is. He needs to anticipate the Luckies towards logs. In the meantime, though, it is a full execution towards the A site. And they managed to slip away in the meantime. Somehow Box doesn't get punished all too much. He's tagged down to 5 points of health, and Jo in the CT spawn, ready to cut off the rotates, actually finds the first head. His teammate dies in the meantime, and this B site, it's open for business. They just need to wriggle away without taking too much damage. And are they going to anticipate Quez in this corner?
Looks like Trick got a bit of a crossfire here between Quez and Lucky. He swings wide. He's Lollipop good for 1. Lucky to trade. Lollipop good for another now. 2 on 3 now. As Trick looks to hide back in the corners. Lollipop good for yet a third. Puts all on to Kier. MDS finishes the job. And Josh, I just feel like Trick's this is painful. As Nemiga, they make it 13-3 now. And for Tricks, they move to what will have to be a 4 spy, but I don't know if anything they do is going to be enough.
I mean, that was a really good round from Tricked as well. They've literally outmaneuvered their opponents. They've gone for this B wrap. Jo is just sitting in the CT spawn and somehow reads the situation incredibly well. Only good for 1, but then Lollipop comes in and has a big old round, hits himself 3 sensational headshots, and just put Nemiga in the driver's seat in that one right there. Tricked, unfortunately, some of their big fraggers just aren't showing up to this game. We see Prime, normally one of the players, putting up the big numbers, and right now he's on 3 frags. Nemiga, they look to try and finish this one off as Tricked go for a 4 spy. And remember, if they do not win this round, then Nemiga are on to 14. Tricked realistically should be on an eco, but if they do so, it allows their opponents onto map and series point.
Right now, this has been a true demonstration and a masterclass on Inferno by Nemiga. Over towards Trick, they have got 2 quick kills. Box trades. Lucky tries to get the next say in the matter, but there's Jo to get the next say and to keep things even. 3 on 3. Trick to make their way down towards short as they look to propel their way towards this A site. Kier tagged down by Lollipop, and this has been a phenomenal recovery from Nemiga. Mollies go down, it forces them back, and in a 2 on 3, it's now Trick's turn to re-aggress, but Jo wouldn't even allow that to happen. All on Quez, spotted out, tagged down, bullied into the ground, and finished as Nemiga make it 14, 2 away from victory, 13 away from victory over the side of Tricks, and I think this game may be finished before it even truly gets started.
That might just be the case, Kremer, as we see Tricked go for another 4 spy. I mean, I get it. Yeah, I really do. They haven't got enough rounds to play with to be justifying dropping down to these ecos. But unless they can get something sensational done with these pistols, then Nemiga will be onto map and series point. They'll have 12 chances to close. And the only thing Tricked will be able to bounce back with is some more pistols and maybe a couple of Mac 10s considering the loss bonus. This has been a really, really incredible showing from Nemiga here on Inferno. And just not the Tricked that I'm used to watching.
Me neither. Honestly, it feels like an inequitable victory by Nemiga right now, as everything Tricked do just does not work, and it's just horrific. We see Tricked now, these pistols kind of spread around the map looking for an entry, but Nemiga aren't giving them anything. They back away, they allow Tricked to push into them, and with a 2-man commitment towards A, actually they might be in a bit of trouble here as Tricked commit 4 men towards Long. Lollipop at the ready, and I can't think of a better man to try and refute this attack.
Oh, they've got a good configuration here. They could pounce on Long as soon as these smokes start to fade. Lollipop ready to swing off of SpeedAxe contact. And as soon as these nades start to rain over, there we go. Wide swing from Lollipop. Can't do any more than damage. But SpeedAxe times the push through the smoke perfectly. Eliminates Kier, brings things back into a 4-on-4. MDS finds the dink. And as they continue to press onto him, he's good for one more. SpeedAxe drops. The numbers level, but so much damage dealt here to Trick that how can they hold on to this? MDS still hasn't been cleared from Pit. And he's still firing through for more. Box finishes things off. Nemiga on to 15. Tricked with the bomb going down and with the 3 kills found. They will have a little bit of extra cash. We might see a fairly decent investment going into the next. But what on earth can they do here? They need 12 consecutive perfect rounds to be able to take this one to OT, and I just don't see it happening.
Me neither, to be honest. I think that Tricked, while they have tried their absolute best to keep Nemiga kind of up against the ropes, the reality is they just haven't found that rhythm that they had on Overpass over on Inferno. You know, we take a look over to what will be the buy of Nemiga. It's damn strong. AUG is out in hand. Enforce to support it. No AWP, surprisingly, and of course we see Lollipop has had 3 SP kills out of the 4 kills in the last 3 rounds, which is pretty interesting considering I think we're clear of the pistol rounds. So Lollipop definitely hitting the BM on Tricked now. Was Tricked again, just ready to try and attack wherever possible, but it just doesn't feel like it's enough, Josh.
It's a bizarre stat line because Lollipop actually got 3 kills in the pistol round, and the pistol round was within the last few. So,
oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, that just means he's got 1 more USP kill since then. Fair enough to him. As we see Tricked actually execute towards this A site, they've left the bomb in ramp, so they're not committing to it just yet. And MDS, what a beautiful spray down. Finds himself too. kс has been tagged up. And Lollipop seems to know he's actually in this smoke, but he's not going to overcommit. SpeedAxe able to trade as kс swings out, as a bit of an element of surprise there. But Nemiga still with the man advantage. They've completely isolated these 2 remaining Trick members as well. They're spread out across the map from each other. And Zip, as he walks around this corner, surely he falls to Box. And yeah, there we go. Box might even go for the BM here. Instead, no, just the trigger discipline. That's the C4 gone. And that's Trick down and out of this one. 16-3, one of the more one-sided games we've seen so far in the Pinnacle Cup. And it's just a disappointing performance there from Tricked. Very, very unfortunate to see. But an incredible showing from Nemiga. So credit where credit's due. Really great stuff from them.
My God, Josh, that was one-sided. And, yeah, we spoke about how Tricked really were underperforming on Inferno there, but you're absolutely right. That really was down to Nemiga playing incredibly as well. They looked on fire right there. And it wasn't through kind of capitalizing off Trick's mistakes. That was them just having a straight, solid game. And they really rose up and they performed. Of course, neither team was eliminated from the Pinnacle Cup. The Swiss stage. It's round 1 of the Swiss stage, and with that means that Nemiga, they find themselves with some relative comfort going into what will be, or could potentially be the next 4 games. Of course, it means that Tricked have all the more reason to fight harder and faster, and hopefully better if it comes to Inferno for their next couple of games.
Absolutely, yeah. I think Tricked are going to be a little bit tilted with that one, but they have a little bit of time to reset. I'm not quite sure who their next matchup's going to be against, but if anything, they've shown today that they are a capable team. They should have won Overpass. There was a couple of little chokes there in the second half that cost it for them, but had they have done so, this would have been a very, very different series. So hopefully they can iron out those mistakes, they can come into their next series, and they can get the job done. This time, though, Nemiga, they're going to go 1-0, and off of the back of that dominant win in the second map as well, I think they'll probably top that table in terms of round difference. So a very, very good win for them, one that they'll be incredibly happy with. And yeah, I mean, we've got another series to cover very, very shortly, Kramer, haven't we?
That we do. We have Team 1 coming up against Godsend. That's going to be a damn good game. I promise you do not want to miss it. We're going to go to a quick little break. We'll be about an hour or so before we bring you that next game. So do not go anywhere, and we'll be back soon.